Good morning, everyone. How sweet it is. I hope you're well, I hope you're happy, and I hope you can spend some time with us and stay with us till midday today. How sweet it is. I hope you're having a good time wherever you are. We are. Gary's here. Tony is here. Most importantly, you're here as well. 0491 65 68 60, the telephone number, and we have a program for you. I must tell you, last night, about 9 o'clock, I don't think we had a program. But it's all together. We got it together. You guys are all right?
Good, thank you very much.
I'm
Good
glad to
morning,
hear it.
Jeremy. Morning, Tony.
Yes, good morning, Gary and Jeremy.
5 lithium-ion battery fires in Melbourne in one day. 3 people in hospital.
I must go out and buy an electric car and Maria.
Speaking of electric cars,
On fire.
Hi, Maria.
Good morning.
Morning. We're just
Yes.
discussing the joys of lithium-ion batteries. How many electric cars have you got?
2.
2.
I always say you
Yeah.
need one as a backup, don't you?
No.
Double trouble.
No. If you maintain correctly and do all the right things, and as I've said before, it's not for everybody. It's just nobody should be forced.
But
Everybody-
why did you get 2?
It was a bit like Jaguars. People used to keep whole spare engines in their garage, XJ12
That's
engines.
not fair.
Well, Jeremy, why do you have all your ice cars in the garage? Because you love them.
Oh, because they're real cars, Maria.
He's an environmentalist.
They've got engines.
Which model have you got, Maria? What cars have you got, electric?
Just 2. I don't want to give you the
Brand?
makes
Oh,
of
you can
them,
tell us. We won't
but-
tell many people.
Oh, no.
Only 4 million.
It's a secret. I did a lot of research, though.
secret.
You've got to do that because like, some cars you only get 100 kilometres, so you would have in the early days anxiety and you wouldn't have had a weekend. So Scott Morrison was right, in that time, but they've come a long way now. And with my cars, I get about 600 kilometres because I just travel on eco.
Do you sort of tow one behind the other when the first battery drops out? You use the second one to get the other 1,200
Tony,
or
you
600
are really
kilometres?
No, not needed. I can get from Adelaide to Melbourne with 2 charge stops.
But why?
And
Why would you want to go to Melbourne? I mean, no offence, but what are you going to find
Everyone's trying to
there?
get away from Melbourne, I thought.
What do you do when you get there?
They've got a shocking government in Melbourne.
I know, and we've got to get rid of them, so come November, everybody, sharpen your pencils over in Melbourne.
Aren't they predicting a Liberal win, I think, in November?
Are they?
I think that's what I heard.
Well, a week in politics is a long time.
Yeah. Oh,
She's not going to get any
well-
of the teachers voting for her.
well, look, we've got to get back to what we had. We were the lucky country, and because of successive governments and parliaments, they've stuffed us up completely. What we need is truth, honesty, real openness, and no lies. In regard
Pauline.
to yes, go Pauline, and they still keep knocking her. They never put what she says in context. Oh, she hates Islam. She hates migrants. She does this. She does that. It's not in context. Read between the lines, or actually the ABC are the dirtiest on that, how they actually take little snippets out of the context and then smear. We should defund the ABC and it should be only on subscription only.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. And in regards to fuel, the ACCC, I'd get rid of them because they're asleep all the time and all they can say is, we're going to fine No, don't fine, because who will pay ultimately is the end customer, and that is us.
Yep.
So they hit us. What they should do, if they stay in alive, they should take away the big company foreign raiders' licenses, because they've been gouging for years. The discount cycle, it used to be 1 or 2 cents, but we see now 20 cents, 30 cents. You know, they just go mad, and we're the ones that are paying. Bowen's saying, you know, for years, oh, we've got to get clean air, and we've got to not have cars that spew emissions. Well, now he's going to give us dirty fuel for our ICE cars. No, sorry, no way will I be putting dirty fuel. Yes, I've got an electric car, but I've got lots and lots of friends that have got ICE cars, including yourselves, guys. You know, no dirty fuel. Now, what's the truth? Is there dirty fuel with emissions? So we've got to get clean fuel. The misinformation for decades, Bowen, you know, you've been singing that, you know, there was no effect, or no, sorry, I've transposed that. For years you've been saying that you need clean fuel, but now you're going to give us dirty fuel, and you're singing there is no effect on emissions. Yes, there is, because the dirty fuel burns hotter and it drains quicker, so we use more. You know, getting back with Parliament, Pauline was trying to introduce a bill during the week to actually rein in the fraudsters on the NDIS. And guess what? 34 lefty progressives knocked that back.
Did they say why?
No, I didn't hear what they said why, but $150 billion ballooning out for forever, and Parliament, these 34 senators should be kicked out of Parliament, because that is our money. That there's plenty of money in the kitty to do the good things, the right things, but they don't want to rein in fraudsters, and they allow criminals to operate. This is a wrong thing to do. Petrol theft. You know, we have a commissioner blaming the victim all the time. Instead of us sending a strong message to the industry not to gouge, you know, they should actually, you know, do the right thing and actually have criminals front up to the consequences. He was saying, the commissioner was saying the other week, you know, that there is a way to actually stop this petrol problem, that they could prepay at the service stations. Well, what next? Will we be prepaying in the supermarket? Will we be prepaying at Uber and the taxis and restaurants? Come on.
Well, did you, Maria, did you hear the police commissioner say that the police would no longer be responding to requests from service stations to track down and catch
drive-offs?
Drive-offs?
Yeah, I did hear that, and this is why I'm responding.
Well, it's not so much when you're talking about the police commissioner or this czar that they've appointed to.
No, the commissioner, he should come out strongly, like the countries, and I've given you this example before, Singapore. You know, over in those countries, they take crime seriously. What we need is stronger leadership by our commissioner and the parliament and our leaders.
Yeah, but the trouble is that the drive-offs are now so often, so frequent, that the police just do not have enough people to respond.
Actually, if you ever took them to court, it would only be like, say, $50, and no magistrate's going to put someone in jail for that. Imagine the cost of processing that for a $40 or $50.
No, well, these apparently are first-time offenders. They're basically people who,
desperate.
Because of the cost of living...
They're desperate.
They're desperate, yeah.
But chasing them for $50 or something, I mean, that's kind of almost not worth it.
So the police commissioner wants, what do you call them, the prepaid Bowsers, the Bowsers that, you've got to...
Dial in...
Yeah, you've got to pick an amount of money that you want to put in your tank, and then you pay that.
What if you buy more than you can fit in the tank, and the tank's running
you're
over?
bad luck.
They're mostly set up for that already.
Yeah, but
I use the
why?
app. I use the OTR app. You scan it in, and I don't think you could run away with that. So that's a good system where they've got your credit card in the app, and you fill it up.
Yep.
And so that's, if they move people to that would get around the problem.
But you could prepay at the Bowser.
Well, that's what you do.
Is that what you do? That's what you do. Alternative, here's a one from left field. Why not employ someone to put the petrol in your car?
Well, that's novel.
Yeah, that's a novel
What
idea.
a lovely
isn't it?
idea.
What a lovely...
And a service station could
They've
become...
never done that before, have they?
They could even, while they're waiting for it to fill up, they could
What
clean
a
your windscreen.
novel idea.
Check your tyres.
Who would have thought of that?
They've never done that before, have they?
No.
How about that, Maria?
Oh, yes, that's okay. But getting back to what your other suggestion is, the cost of prepayment will cost the small operator a fortune that they don't have. It's okay for the big guys, but we have to be like Singapore. We have to be crime-free. There's consequences and no excuses because, they're poor. Well, I was poor. My parents were poor, but they didn't go out and steal. If I had a service station, and this one's out of left field, I'd erect a watchtower with a toughness of Dirty Harry. I'd say to the crim, make my day, my double-barrel shotguns here, and if you want to steal, watch out, there's consequences. Maybe we need to get tough. All this lovey-dovey, 30 years I've heard, we got to rehabilitate them.
Well, you could rehabilitate them, but the trouble is you have to have a positive disincentive to behave badly.
Yeah. This will escalate because it's not only the drive-offs, it will be that on the forecourt when you're actually getting your fuel, and we've seen it before where they actually knock you over, grab your keys and drive off with your car.
That's what they do in Melbourne.
Yeah, this is only the start, and you have the freight industry warning the truckies now to be careful when they're at their break at the pit stops. Be careful because they are siphoning out the diesel while they're having their rest breaks. Don't make excuses, We need to get tough, and if they in Parliament can't get tough, we'll get rid of them because the end user always ends up paying, We've bombed, it was supposed to be 96,000. It blew out to 150 million, and they've given the same company a new gig of $16 million for a create the climate risk hub. Oh, for God's sake, $16 million after you've wasted $150 million and the item is not fit for purpose. We have to wake up, Some of them have woken up. A lot of them haven't, all this lovey-dovey woke stuff. Get rid of all that, And Jeremy, you were right. It started back with the Lima Declaration. We had a wonderful country.
Well, it wasn't so much the Lima Declaration, that was 75, but the country went off the rails when Gough Whitlam was elected in 72.
Yeah.
Because back then, apparently, reading history, the electorate was bored. They didn't like the idea of no unemployment, very, very low interest rates. God knows what they were. It was the closest thing to paradise you could think of. But the electorate was bored. So in comes the progressives.
Yeah, progressive, not backwards, more like it. The other one, we should get rid of one level of governance, and I've said this before, councils. I'll give you an example. The other day, Brisbane Council, they wanted 2 possum boxes. So they asked the ratepayers.
Hang on a sec.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, I've got an old Golden Fleece commercial here.
Oh, right.
Where you got... Shall I play it later on?
Yeah. What was the name of the bloke, the Golden Fleece? Stanley.
I just lined it up and it triggered off then. But this is when they used to give you service in the petrol station.
Yeah, I remember.
Have a listen.
Here's Stanley back at Golden Fleece, the all-new Resolute Stanley, dedicated to giving you Golden Fleece, golden service.
You certainly get fleeced now anyway with the petrol price.
Certainly get fleeced.
Is that Stanley? That's Stanley. That's definitely Stanley.
Which is...
Need
more audio in it, don't we? It's a visual
smoke and
thing.
smell before we sell it.
And even the commercials sounded classy.
Hank.
What
Someone's
is going on?
Someone's taken it off, I reckon. Oh, hang on, here it is.
You know, we get all kinds of people at Golden Fleece, but they all get one kind of service, golden service, nothing less. Right, Stanley? That's right.
Proudly Australian.
Bring back
That was
Stanley.
ahead of its time with all those funny characters in it jumping around. I thought that might have been a takeoff of it.
It didn't look right to me. It
I better find another one.
60s to me.
Let's find another one.
What were you saying, Maria?
AI, that one.
The Brisbane Council wanted 2 possum boxes. So at the council meeting, they wanted to ask ratepayers what they thought the cost would be. So various ones gave their estimate. The men's shed at Brisbane said $25 each.
Yeah.
Well, they brought out the council bill. Guys, guess what it was?
Mind
Have a
boggles.
guess.
What?
9,600 for 2 possum boxes.
They must have been pretty posh possum boxes.
Yeah, it must have been made of gold, I reckon.
Yeah, but anything that the councils or government, state or federal, anything that they do is always going to cost more.
Well, that has to be reined in. We aren't going to be ripped off, gouged. You know, the councils become demigods.
Yeah, but look at the things that they do. They buy train carriages when we used to make train carriages, and we used to make trains in Australia. But after the Lima Declaration, that sort of went to a third world country or someone.
All their trams came from Spain or somewhere, didn't they?
Well,
In Adelaide?
the trouble is that they got the wrong gauge.
Ah.
And then there were the ferry boats in Sydney that go up
that's what they
Parramatta River.
Yep.
And they bought these ferry boats and they didn't get...
The right dimension.
they were too tall, too high to go under the bridges.
Minor
A
issue.
minor detail.
Or the latest one with the helipads. All the helipads here in South Australia aren't conforming to what's required, so they have to rip them up and build them again. Now, these councils are raiding and plundering the ratepayer, you know, not operating in the best interest of the ratepayer, only themselves. Most of them aren't even sustainable or viable, so it's time to get rid of that level of governance. Governance. Keep the services, get rid of the CEOs, the mayors and the bureaucrats, and look, the potholes could be fixed, you know, the environment could be made better without all their taking one another to court.
Yeah, but if you're worried about being over-governed, we are the only state in Australia, maybe perhaps even in the world, where we have two governments. We have the white government that the Aboriginals can vote in as well, correctly, quite so, and they have their own black parliament, which runs parallel to, with all of the costs of the existing sitting government. Now, how about that for over-governance?
Yeah, well, that shouldn't ever happen because we went to a referendum and we said no. A majority of Australians said no, but here in South Australia they slipped it through the back door. Did you take any notice of your electoral guide with the black vote? They actually did that so nicely as the example. They gave the sample, they put all the numbers in, did it correctly, and they even had a photo as well. But for our white ones, they gave the example of just numbering 1 to 4, and then down the bottom they said, we'll just continue with every square.
Well, Maria, how come we weren't allowed to vote in this Aboriginal referendum thing the other day?
Well, you're not
That's
allowed
discrimination.
to. Well, of course it is. The whole thing is discriminatory.
I identify with Aboriginality, so I feel like I should have voted.
Well, it's racist, and the way Maria's describing that how to vote card is just condescending because they are inferring that Aboriginal people are stupid and they have to be held by the hand and shown what to do. And that simply isn't true. But the big thing, Maria, is to finally get some figures out of the government as to how many Aboriginal people indeed bothered to vote.
Exactly. The media has been conspicuously silent.
Everyone has. I mean, the government hasn't said a word.
Exactly. It's as if it didn't even happen.
Yeah.
Family members said to me they haven't even started counting them yet. It was going to start counting after our vote.
Yeah.
They've all got to take their shoes and socks off to count.
Well, and if the opposition wins next time, or Pauline wins next time, I'm sure that they will do something about it. They'll get rid of it. I think perhaps it's Melbourne where they have committed themselves. The Liberals have committed themselves to getting rid of it. I don't know about here. But thank you for the call. Do it again. Oh, that is good. I haven't heard that for years. Telephone number if you'd like to ring us, 0491 65 68 60. A little dial-in democracy, if you like, on a Friday morning. By the way, we're not here next Friday because that's Friday. That's Good Friday. That's Easter. Yeah. So we're taking that Friday off. You're going to church. Well, I'm glad to hear it.
Indeed.
I'll be stuffing my face with hot cross buns.
Hot cross buns. Who got the Easter eggs? Who brought the Easter eggs in?
I think Caroline.
Caroline did.
Easter Bunny did. Come on.
Oh, Caroline, thank you.
Don't burst our bubble.
No, we wouldn't do that. On the show, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Clem McIntyre. We've spoken to him. Well, I used to speak to him quite often years ago. Political commentator. And talking about the state election, both of them, black and white. We'll get his take on the political landscape at the moment and where it's all going. We'll talk to the professor at about 9:30. Also, speaking about see where we're going, I don't know if you've heard of Rocky Scopoletti. He's a professor. He is an expert on AI and what AI, the implications of AI in the future of the world, let alone Australia. We'll talk to Professor Rocky Scopoletti at about 11:30. Andrea Clisby's coming in. Oh, yeah, tell us about...
Andrina Clisby.
Andrina
Clisby will be coming in. She's the daughter of the very famous Harold Clisby. Harold Clisby, a genius, there's no doubt about that, who designed and built a Formula One engine that was used in Australia, I believe, by Jack Brabham.
A racing car.
A racing car engine, a quad cam engine. And it's quite remarkable that he built the whole thing from scratch.
Yeah.
And that particular engine is now on display down the Sporting Car Club club rooms. It really is a work of art. Andrea is very supportive of her father's heritage or legacy, and she'll be along this morning to talk about that.
Yeah, I got a letter from them. It was a rather messy kitchen table. It's messier than this one.
I believe you. I've seen it.
It is a bit of a problem.
Jeremy's filing system is superb.
Yep.
He deals with the stuff off the biggest pile first.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
Losing our iPads.
Somebody's greased the iPad. It slides off the table. Anyway, I got to find that letter because they're coming up to the garage, the whole Sporting Car Club.
Oh, all of them?
I think so.
Have you got ramp access?
No. Oh, well, I guess I do in a way.
Is it wheelchair friendly?
Well, yeah.
But more importantly, Jeremy, I've always been saying this, is there a toilet available there?
No. The
aged need toilets.
If I did it again...
I'd do it all over you.
I'd do it all over, yes. No, if I did it again, I would have I would have one of those turntables so that you can move the car.
For playing records.
About that.
No.
No, a big one.
Play records on it as well.
I'd have a proper kitchen,
so they can...
and I'd have a toilet.
Indeed.
Because you're quite right. It's a minimum requirement, I think. I mean...
Well, there's always the pit.
Yeah. The pit. The pit.
It could be used if it wasn't full of cartons of red wine.
Yeah, that's true.
You've been looking.
Do you go down to do you use your
snooping
pit?
around your garage?
Do you use your pit much?
No, I
Folks,
haven't.
Jeremy's garage has to be seen to be believed.
Let me warn you, it's going to be full of redback spiders.
Oh, look, it could be, but
it is absolutely beautiful.
The main.
We shouldn't give him a hard time.
The main reason for the pit is that when I die, what we're going to do is just. I've instructed the family they're going to put the body in the pit, the inspection pit in the garage. They're going to leave me with
a glass top on it.
No.
Be like
no. I'll have my mobile phone with me.
Doesn't mean we can keep on ringing you.
No, I'll just have a glass of red and a mobile phone. And then the instruction is, it's in the will, so it's all
I believe you,
kosher.
believe me.
They call one of those little mini concrete things. Yeah?
Just top it up.
And they fill it up and they smooth it over and no one will know that I'm there. And I will get to stay there
in perpetuity.
If you get buried at one of the cemeteries,
it costs you a fortune.
It's not only that; you only have 25 years.
That's right. You've got to pay again.
Do you know? I had a young man come around to me during the week called Sam, who works at Centennial Park, and he bought a V12 engine off me.
Oh.
True story.
Okay.
He bought a Jaguar V12 engine. I said, What are you going to do that? Bury it down at Centennial Park?
No, he will spend his whole life keeping it working. Cause
it's a true story. He did.
Keeping it running.
He bought it for his dad as a present. What a great kid.
That's a negative present because it's like a noose around you.
It's a very good paperweight.
Yeah, paperweight.
We should have seen us trying to get it into his Kia.
Yeah. So way more than the Kia.
He said, no worries, it'll get in the boot. And I said, I don't think so.
That's a 5.3 litre, isn't it? The XJ12 engine. Yeah.
Big
I had
V12
one of those.
Out of a V12 Roadster.
Yeah.
Jeremy doesn't realise it, but I took it out of his Roadster. Jeremy's got one.
Well,
Actually, folks, I've got to say something. This is news for everyone. Jeremy has taken possession recently of one of his dreams. He's bought an Austin Healey 104.
Yes, I did.
It is absolutely gorgeous, folks.
It's very pretty.
And if you see him driving around with that hat on, you'll know it's him. It's a white one.
It's white, black upholstery. Very nice.
Very beautiful.
Yep. We'll get Clem up.
And a Morris Minor,
In a second.
Jeremy. Come on, fess up.
Yeah. Okay, now, as I told you, I think on Thursday, the posting on Facebook, we have a new sponsor. Well, when I say a new sponsor, Rossdale Homes was the original foundation sponsor of the Court of Public Opinion when we were broadcasting it from the garage I don't remember what year it was.
2012 and 13.
2012 and 13. Yeah, that's
Channel 44. I used to listen in.
Yep, Channel 44 it was, 1 hour a week. And they're back. Rossdale Homes are back, and I'm very pleased with that. And remember this, whether you're a first-time builder, it's all very traumatic, building your first home. Well, building your last home, building any home can be really traumatic. But if it's the first, the second, or the third, doesn't matter. Or perhaps you're a seasoned property developer and quite blasé about the whole thing. Nobody likes extra scary costs. The extras are scary, ladies and gentlemen. You don't want them. At Rossdale Homes, they get that, which is why they pride themselves on their absolute fixed price guarantee. Not many things these days are guaranteed. They believe in trust. Trust is a must. And with the guaranteed fixed price contracts, you will get no nasty surprises. For peace of mind, trust Rossdale, you spell it Rossdale, where only you can change the price. And you're not going to do that unless you want to. rossdalehomes.com.au. Trust is a must.
Surfing USA.
Clem McIntyre in just a sec. A bit chilly for that today, I would think. Professor Clem McIntyre. Now, I'm not sure where he is today. He does get around. Professor, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Jeremy.
Nice to talk to you again.
And you.
I take it that the last weekend's election was no surprise to you?
No, the opinion polls had been pretty clear for a long time. So if Labor had not done well and if One Nation had not polled as well as it had, that would have been a surprise. But having said that, it's an election out of the ordinary in that One Nation pushed past the Liberals into second place on the primary votes. And it's an election that's seen a record Labor majority. So it's got its unusual aspects, even if it was something that we could see coming over the horizon.
It's not a one-off, I take it. It's a definite trend. You can see something coming from this sustainably?
Well, that's, I think, just a bit too early to tell. Clearly, if we look across the national picture, the coalition is in trouble. It's facing pressure from One Nation in rural parts of Australia. And clearly, over the last couple of federal elections, we've seen the Liberal brand less successful in metropolitan seats where, mainly on the eastern states, the Teals have been taking seats from the Liberal Party. So it's got pressure from a more moderate central grouping in cities and a more conservative group in rural Australia. And we've seen a measure of that in South Australia with One Nation really eating into the Liberal Party vote. both in metropolitan and in rural South Australia, and in fact taking away some of the Labor vote in some of their safe seats. Now, the question for me is whether One Nation can sustain that over a long period. At the moment, I still think, despite its supporters saying, this is the new normal, I still think it's an insurgent party which is attracting the disaffected. And One Nation have got to demonstrate that they've got a comprehensive set of policies. They can set themselves up as the alternative government and be a plausible party of government, which I don't think is the case at the moment. They've got headline policy issues, many of which are related to federal matters. But I don't think they've got that fine-grained policy development that we see in the major parties. And they've got to hang together. The One Nation have got a terrible history of having people elected who subsequently walk out on the party for one reason or another. So they've got to sort of hold their act together, and they've got to build deep into policy. And if they can do that over the next year or two, working with the members of the South Australian Parliament, building for the Victorian election, and then New South Wales in the next 12 to 18 months, then I think we will start taking them much more seriously. But just for the moment, I've just got those sort of hesitations before I see it as a definite.
Yeah. Susan Leith's seat by-election coming up. How important is that one?
Well, it will be very important, but again, it's a very unusual circumstance. I suspect Labor is not going to even run a candidate. This is the seat of Farrer, which is on the sort of southwest corner of New South Wales, and it's natural coalition territory for however long you want to look. It was the seat held by Tim Fischer, the former leader of the Nationals, before Susan Lee won it. I suspect we'll have One Nation standing, we'll have a national candidate standing, we'll have a Liberal candidate standing, and I suspect we'll have the independent who, forgive me, her name escapes me for the moment, who stood last time, who did reasonably well in Farrer. So we've got almost a four-cornered contest there, and if Labor doesn't stand, much will depend upon the order of preferences. You've got to think Labor and the Nats will preference each other. I don't know where independent preferences might go, and we don't know the order in which they'll finish. So that's just completely unpredictable, I think. But if One Nation pinch that against the odds in a way, that will send a shudder through the Nationals, there's no doubt. And they will be very anxious about their future in parts of New South Wales and Queensland in particular, I think.
Then there's the Victorian election coming up at the end of the year. That'll be interesting.
Yes, and I think one of the things that strikes me about the Victorian election is that it's going to be a much closer affair than we saw in South Australia. We all knew that Peter Malinauskas was going to be elected in a landslide in South Australia for months. And so I wonder whether there were some Liberal voters who thought that, our vote's not going to change the outcome. I can send a message to the Liberal Party about their division and their disharmony, the fact they went through 4 leaders in 4 years, and send a message by parking my vote with One Nation. If sometime Liberal voters in Victoria are looking at the polls and are thinking this is a close run affair, if I vote One Nation, that might let Labor back in, which is the last thing I want. They might be a bit more disciplined. Now, this is all speculation on my part, and I might be completely wrong. But if One Nation do as well in Victoria as they did in South Australia, I will admit my error of my ways, and I'll start taking them more seriously. So, as I say, there's a couple more electoral hurdles I want to see them jump before I'm really convinced the old two-party system that we've known for so long in Australia is really under serious challenge.
When you get up there in the lecture hall and you're talking politics to the classroom, what sort of kids study politics these days? What's the sort of feeling you get when you walk into that classroom and survey?
Well, it's a slightly hard question for me to answer because I've been retired from the University of Adelaide, or what's now Adelaide University, for a few years. So I haven't been teaching first-year classes.
But it wouldn't have changed much, would it?
No, it probably wouldn't have changed much. So certainly when I was teaching, the students you saw were ones who, most of whom had no intention of ever going into politics, but were fascinated by it. And what we try and do when we're teaching politics at university is teach ideas of critical thinking, of conducting research, of articulating ideas, of expressing positions, of formulating or understanding policy development, so that, as I say, most of the graduates, a handful do go into a political life, of course, but most of them don't. They go and work for private enterprise or government departments and things like that, banking, insurance, you name it. But they've left the university articulate, able to apply critical thinking, to assess the validity of arguments, and to take a position and defend it. So it's really about very transferable skills that students have that can be adapted to all sorts of different disciplines.
And there they are in the class learning about critical thinking and the importance of the freedom of thought and speech and all that sort of thing. And you look at the Liberal Party, and there's a lot of dissension, and there's discussion, and there's heads rolling everywhere. But you look at the Labor Party, and it's a disciplined, well-oiled machine where they don't allow very much freedom of thought or critical thinking. Well, certainly not commenting on it.
No, the latter is the key point there. There's the debates inside the Labor Party in South Australia are alive and well. Don't worry about that. There's factional squabbles, there's disagreements, there's policy arguments, but they manage it in-house. They have those fights behind closed doors, and they come out with a united position, sometimes through gritted teeth, but it's there. So we've just seen a couple of people step down from the cabinet. Now, I don't know whether they were pushed or whether they chose to walk, but we're not going to hear any public recriminations. No. I think there was a Labor member who held the seat for one term, who wanted pre-selection, wasn't pre-selected, and took the Premier to ended up in court, the Premier and the former member, in a bit of a legal battle. That's about the only recent example I can think of a squabble inside Labor that became public, whereas in the Liberal Party it happens all too often. So, Jeremy, we've got an incredibly professional Labor Party that is normally in government in South Australia. I'm going back a bit, but since the fall of Tom Playford in March of 1965, so that's just 61 years ago, the Liberal Party have been in office for 17 and a half of those 61 years in South Australia, Labor the rest. And so it almost gets to a point where it's self-fulfilling. Labor is, you join Labor and go into politics in South Australia, you expect to be in office and all the disciplines of that apply. You join the Liberal Party and you spend most of your career sitting in the opposition benches, and it's a much less attractive policy. So, some of the candidates that offer themselves up probably are not the absolute tip-top that you'd want. But South Australian political history is characterised by the extraordinary discipline and professionalism of Labor, and by the fact that the Liberals have allowed their squabbles to become public and they have been divided. It's not good, and I'm not taking sides here. I'm not saying Labor's better and the Liberals are worse. I want to see a strong opposition, because I think strong government requires a strong opposition. And at the moment, we've got a Labor Party in its pomp, and we've got it looks like we might have 5 Liberals on the opposition benches, probably 4 One Nation and 4 on the crossbench. Now, that disparate group are not going to like each other much, but they are going to have to cooperate and work to hold the government to account for the good of South Australia.
You mentioned Tom Playford. One of my favourite stories is that in Tom Playford's day, the Premier's department consisted of 3 people, of whom the Premier was one. Yep. There was his secretary, and there was a batman that was Tom Playford's batman in the First World War. He only had one arm, and he used to double as the doorman. Now there are
different days.
but 303 people in the Premier's department today. What do they all do, I wonder?
Well, it's a good question, but in fairness, I think the development of policy is slightly more demanding now. They were simpler days in terms of we had a much tighter closed economy then than we do now. Less international engagement and trade, and probably a less demanding populace in some respects. But you're right. There's some stories. The one I particularly enjoy is Tom Playford would drive himself for a start, drive his own car, no chauffeur. And after Parliament got up in the evenings, he'd offer Don Dunstan, who was an up-and-coming member of the opposition, who lived in Norwood. Tom Playford had offered Don Dunstan a lift back home to Norwood on his way back up to Norton Summit. Now you can't imagine the Premier of today offering lifts to the leader of the opposition and doing the driving. So they were different times, it's fair to say, and the pace of politics was different.
Who's the most impressive politician you've run into? Your favourite politician? Do you have one?
Well, in terms of effectiveness, or
you look at yes, I suppose so. You look at this guy and you say, or this woman, and you say, well, there's a star. There's something quite formidable.
Well, I was extremely young when Don Dunstan was Premier of South Australia, but there's no doubt that he transformed the state in an amazing way, and left a mark that is still being felt. Labor had been out of office for something like 33 years before 1965. Dunstan wasn't Premier when Labor won, but he took over pretty soon after that. And Labor has not looked back since. So he really turned the tables there. I think someone like Bob Hawke brought Labor together after the trauma of the existential crisis of the Whitlam years and the dismissal in 1975, and was a very unifying leader, I think. On the other side of politics, I think John Howard provided an extraordinary period of stability and growth
and good management
for Australia. Yeah, a sort of safe pair of hands in a sense.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who others. I was very lucky when I was an undergraduate student. I was taught for a while by Kim Beazley, and I was immensely impressed by Kim Beazley as a person and as a political character. He never became Prime Minister, but I thought that he was an honourable and good man.
Yeah, very nice man too. What do you think of this parallel Aboriginal Parliament or third chamber? I don't know how to describe it. And I can't get any answers. I wanted to know
in South Australia.
Yeah.
You
know, the Premier has said that each of the members will be paid $200,000 a year. I don't know, and I can't get an answer as to whether that includes their staff. I don't know whether they'll have the chauffeur-driven government cars, and I don't know how often they're going to meet. And it's all very vague, and nobody is asking any questions about it. What do you make of it?
Well, I don't know those details. I hadn't heard that salary, for example, and I have to admit I've not looked closely at that legislation. And we've got to remember that in South Australia, the so-called voice is simply a legislative act of the Parliament. It's not like in the Commonwealth level where it required a referendum, which, as we know, failed a couple of years ago. So the voice simply was the government putting a bill through Parliament, which the federal government could try and do if it wanted, but it's chosen not to. I think that it's an important process in allowing Indigenous voices to be heard and to reflect upon the laws of the state. There is no doubt that Indigenous communities in South Australia see some of the biggest concentrations as a disadvantage and poverty. Health levels are significantly worse. Engagement with law and order is often a big issue. All of the measures that we look for in a society, we frequently see the Aboriginal communities, some of the Aboriginal communities, amongst the most disadvantaged. And I think that it sits upon all of us to be thinking about how to resolve that and to close the gap, to use the political line that's been used. And if the establishment of a voice allows concerns and debates over policy and how it applies to Aboriginal communities to be better heard and understood by the Parliament that sits on North Terrace, then I'm very happy to let that play out for some time and see how it works before I it would become too critical of it. Yeah. So I think it's early days. I think it's a good initiative. It's probably not the only one we need to see, but let's see how that works before we chuck it out.
You don't think it's racist to have two separate things based purely on race and colour?
No, I think the circumstances in which we see our society are such that there is clear and evident disadvantage, and we have to keep asking ourselves, why is that? Because the attempt to simply deal with these matters with the normal run of politics is evidently failed for one reason or another. I'm not ascribing blame anywhere, but we need to try something different, because the situation as it is not, to my mind, satisfactory. And if it means making decisions based, or getting a forum which is elected by Indigenous people to give a voice to them, then, as I say, let's see how that goes and give it a go.
What if we discover that the voting turnout, displays the fact that they're not interested? Aboriginal people don't care.
Well, I think that's a sign of the scale of the problem that we've got, that there is a disengagement, that there is a lack of faith and trust in the institutions, and that's exactly what we should be working.
How would you fix it? How would you fix it?
Through endeavour, through education, and through demonstrating that there's some positive and concrete measures can come from this initiative.
I've talked to Warren Mundine many times, and he's an inspirational guy. He's a self-made man. He's an Aboriginal, proud Aboriginal, but a businessman. And he says it's time for tough love. That you're not going to help people by endlessly doing for them what they could and should do for themselves, kind of thing.
Yeah, you ask 10 people, you'll get 10 different opinions. I don't doubt that. Warren Mundine, of course, is not sort of politically neutral. He was a former very senior official in the Labor Party before he joined the Liberal Party and became a Liberal Party candidate. So I think I'm not disrespecting his views in any way, shape or form, but he's articulating a particular point of view. I think that's certainly worth listening to, but it's one of a number of views.
Do you miss teaching, Professor?
Yes, I do in some respects. I'm busy doing other things in my life, but I miss engagement with the students. I'm actually in Canberra at the moment, having just spent 2 days talking with some senior secondary students about constitutional matters, and that was great fun.
Yep. Are you writing a book, or how many books have you written?
No, not writing at the moment. I've been doing lots and lots of radio about the election for the last.
I'll bet you
weeks.
have. I'll bet you have. You're brilliant, and we love you. Thank you so much, Clem.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Professor Clem McIntyre, ladies and gentlemen. Give us a ring if you'd like to, 0491 65 68 60.
Oh, what in the world's come over you? Could you ever change your mind? If you do, I'll still be here, dear, waiting, longing for you. All my life I've loved you so, never dreamed I'd miss you so. Now alone in my room each night, my heart it cries, it's just not right. Oh, what in the world's come over you? You're still my angel from above. Guess you're lost
Jack Scott. Very good. Now, you're holding up a picture of Kyle coming out of court.
Oh, sorry.
What's he going into court?
Our favourite person. He's lodged his statement of claim.
Yep.
And he's currently going into the federal court to expedite it. Not for the main hearing, it's just
Wearing a suit, no less.
Never seen him in a suit.
No.
He really doesn't suit him, so to speak.
Slims him down a bit, which just doesn't hurt.
How big is his legal team? Because he would be able to afford a fairly impressive crowd.
He's got a couple of hotshot barristers, Scott Robinson and Philip Boncardo.
Johnson, Winter, Slattery?
And they were involved in interrogating what was the New South Wales Premier? Berejiklian. What was her name?
Oh, Gladys.
Gladys, that's the one. Yeah. So I don't know what sort of job they did with her.
God, they were mean to her, I tell you.
Yeah, well...
all she did was to have a bit of a fling with somebody in Parliament. That's not something to get the sack over, I wouldn't have thought.
Well, it wasn't a good look.
Well, I don't know.
He was a fairly dodgy character.
He was. How she got sucked in by him, though?
Oh, ladies love outlaws like bankers love gold. Haven't you ever heard
He's
that?
a tattoo and a blue singlet. You're in business these days.
Yeah, well, just to tie in with that, the man who knows the ins and the outs of all of these things in the incredibly complicated, expensive world of show business is Max Marxson. Max is going to join us in a couple of seconds to give us his take on it. Christine Esau, Young and Mike Young going to drop by. The fringe wash-up and stuff that we didn't know that we didn't know. By the way, speaking of stuff that you didn't know that you didn't know, on this day, they invented... Are you ready?
Wait for it, folks.
They invented the urinal.
Oh, my goodness. I was busting for that idea.
1866, on this very day, March 27, they invented the urinal. I wonder what the story...
The French word for that is pissery, isn't it?
Yeah. What's the backstory to inventing a urinal, I wonder?
Let's not get this toilet humour. We're not the Sandilands level.
No, we're not. No.
Toilet humour.
No, this is
We've got plenty of listeners already. We don't have to go down that low.
Scare them
No,
away.
that's absolutely right. Leith van Onselen will join us as well from Macro Business. He'll be on about 11:15, rather. Alrighty, telephone number 0491 65 68 60. That's the number to call.
There's none that can compare with her, I'm glad to say. She's my little baby and she's here to stay. 'Cause she's my baby. Oh, my own. She's my baby. She's my baby. She's my baby. So, love a little honey, won't you please be mine? Come on.
How many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times must a man look up before
You're listening to the Court of Public Opinion with Jeremy Cordeaux, where the time is 10 a.m. Australian Central Standard Time.
Hey! What's the weather for the weekend gonna be? Will it be hot, cold,
And the weather today in Adelaide, it will be a partly cloudy day.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by...
Hang on, Max.
Brought to you by RADI.
Hi, Max. I certainly can hear you. You will?
Good. Yes, I'm good. Are we on air?
Yes, we are. You must be having a
Great.
busy morning.
I am having a busy morning, and Carl Sandilands has left the court.
Well, thank you for sparing time to talk with us.
Yeah.
What's the feeling?
Well, I believe that Kyle will get his $80 million, but he really wants to come back on air. And he said that he's ready to start on Monday. But the case won't be heard again until the earliest, the end of April, but it might go into May. They were going to leave it till the end of June. So I just think I don't know if he'll get the $82 million back or he'll get back on air. But he wants to get back on air. He wants to speak to his public.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Does he do podcasts and things like that? Or is it just that he wants to work for a radio station? Or he wants to buy one?
Well, that's another thing. Podcasts don't pay money. You don't get any money on a podcast. But the radio station pays him a lot of money.
Yes.
And that's what he's supposed to be getting.
Now, isn't that the nub of the problem? They paid too much money. This is your wheelhouse. What did you think when you heard? I take it you didn't do the negotiating for that deal, did you?
I did not do the deal, but he got serious money, and he wants to get his money, and he wants to be back on air. So they're not going to do that. The radio station said they're not going to do that. They're not going to put him back on air. But but they'll have to pay them the $82 million plus. I'm sure.
Good God! Yeah, because there were an awful lot of pluses, I believe.
Yeah, of course there are. Court cases, costs there.
No, I mean the fringe benefits that came along with the contract.
Well, yeah, of course. And they had days off, obviously, but I mean, the big money was the big money. That's the most important thing.
Who in his right mind would sign up in, the fickle world of audiences to begin with, the fickle world of personalities, all sorts of things can happen to them. They can get involved in scandals. They can... God knows what can happen in 10 years, and you're prepared to put $100 million times 2 on the table. What, without any KPIs or without any conditions, no back door, no way out? What company would do that, Max?
Well, they did.
Well, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Who do you happen to know who did the deal for him?
No, I don't. I mean, I'm sure his management would have done it.
Yeah, it must have even surprised him.
Yeah.
Where will it go? Do you think there is a radio station or network that would take him on?
Well, I don't know if they will now or not, but I mean, it gives him the opportunity to do something.
Yeah.
Really, and that's serious. I mean, it's serious money.
Do you think there's been any negotiating behind the scenes, trying to settle the thing before going to court?
Look, they're not. The radio station's not going to do anything. They don't want to put him back on air, and they want to obviously move on. But he's suing them, and I think he'll get his money. If they would have taken him off air immediately, but they didn't. They kept him going when he'd had the argument on air.
Yes.
With his offsider, and he just they let her go, and then they kept him on air for a week or 2 weeks, and then they brought up the whole situation. Oh, you've done something wrong, but they could have taken him off air minutes after it happened.
Max, I read in his statement of claim that ARN actually had at least 2 people monitoring everything he said in real time with a 30-second delay, and they didn't push any of those dump buttons. So that's back onto them. I reckon he's got a really good case.
Well,
so they vetted everything he said.
Yeah.
Well, he is a shock jock, and I suppose that's what a shock jock does. He shocks.
That's right, and that's what he was paid to do for like 10 years, or how long. He's been on air for some like 25 years doing this.
Well, wouldn't you think, from a legal point of view, that the company would have got together with the lawyers in the back room and said, this is what we want to do, and we're looking for an excuse to do it? What sort of ground are we on?
Well, they're on no ground whatsoever, in my opinion. I mean,
well, you're an expert.
The way it is.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting. I'm told that the executives that hired or did the deal with Kyle and Jackie O,
they've all gone.
They've all gone.
Yep, all gone.
A rush to the door.
They left the place in tatters.
Yeah.
And what of Jackie O? What happens to her funds?
Yeah, Max, what happens to Jackie O?
Well, she doesn't know what she'll do now. No, she'll do whatever she wants to do, but it'll be a new game.
Why do you think that program worked? I know it didn't work in Melbourne, and they tried it here in Adelaide. It didn't work here either. Why did it work in Sydney?
Well, it was enormous in Sydney. No, it's so popular, but it is no longer, unfortunately.
No, but he is a bit of a buffoon. Whether he puts it on or he really is a buffoon, I don't know.
Well, I think he's a great radio person. I think him and Jackie were fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's sad that they're not there anymore. It really is.
Yeah, well, it's a funny business, this show business stuff.
Yeah.
Max, thank you. You're doing something with Current Affair tonight.
Yeah, I'm going dead. I'm trying to find him now. So I'll leave you alone. So I'm not
we'll be watching. We'll be watching.
Cheers.
Thanks a lot, Max. The great Max Marxson, ladies and gentlemen.
On a Sunday morning sidewalk, I'm wishing, Lord, that I was stoned. 'Cause there's something in a Sunday that makes a body feel alone. And there's nothing short of dying that's half as lonesome as the sound of the sleeping city sidewalk and Sunday morning coming down.
Great song. Wow, they like him. Great song. Chris Christopherson, Sunday Morning Coming Down. Lovely song. Johnny Cash. March the 27th, if you're having a birthday, by the way, happy birthday, happy wedding anniversary. 1790 was the year. The modern shoelace with a aglet. What's an aglet?
Absolutely no idea.
What's an aglet?
Is that the thing on the end that stops it fraying?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, an aglet. Patented.
Right, be the little metal bit that stops it.
I was thinking it would be the eye through which the lace goes, but no, I don't know.
I think it's the bit at the end.
The bit at the end.
Anklet.
Anyway, it was patented in England by Harvey Kennedy, 1790. Would you get a little commission or a little royalty every time somebody...
Harvey would be laughing. Or Harvey's descendants, at least.
Happy Harvey.
Living in Buckinghamshire.
M.L. How would you pronounce that? B-Y-R-N. Burn? B-Y-R-N? Bryn. Okay. M.L. Bryn patents a covered gimlet screw with a T-handle, more popularly known as a corkscrew. He patented the corkscrew. What a brilliant man.
Who would have thought?
Well, how the hell did they get corks out of bottles? If did the cork come first or did the corkscrew come first?
That's a worry. Yeah.
It is a worry.
Yeah.
Well, corks have been around for a long time, so the corkscrew must have come afterwards.
Well, you wouldn't.
Given the year you just mentioned.
But you wouldn't be putting the cork in the bottle till you had something to get the bloody thing out.
They just push it into the fluid.
I've done that before today.
We've all done that.
1860, anyway, was the year. 1930, the first US radio broadcast from a ship at sea. On this day in 1930. The first U.S. steam engine is tested in New York City. The first U.S. steam fire engine is tested in New York City. 1841. Henry Royce, the great Henry Royce, English industrialist and automobile founder, Rolls-Royce, was born in 1863. He died in 1933. Made beautiful cars.
The quality remains long after the price has been forgotten.
Yes. Well, I suppose that's true. Although Rolls-Royce cars these days, and I'm not talking about the modern ones, the BMW Rolls-Royces, but the older ones are still beautifully engineered and they cost very little money.
They're beautiful. I owned one for 7 years.
No, well,
I loved it.
The style and the look of them and the way they sit on the road. And
it was just a lounge room on wheels.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely beautiful. And you can get a nice one.
Have you ever driven one?
Yes, I have.
You have?
You can get a nice one for $15,000.
You could, or $500,000 if you want to go up market.
Oh, if you want to, I suppose.
Yeah, there's people who own them.
Yeah. What did you think of Max Marxson? He was very guarded, wasn't he?
I thought he was extremely guarded.
It's like pulling teeth.
It was. Oh, you did so well.
Well,
all those pregnant pauses, we were going to start telling jokes.
I don't know why he was so guarded. Why he was being so cautious.
Well,
maybe he's got something brewing.
Well, possibly, yeah.
Knowing Max, I would think there'd be something brewing.
I don't know the gentleman, but his reputation does precede him. He's a very clever man.
He is a brilliant manager of talent. You know, he just makes things happen.
We must engage him.
Yes. I've tried to on several occasions.
Maybe you could give him a ride in a Rolls-Royce. He might like that.
I think he's probably got a Rolls-Royce.
He's probably got 3 or 4.
Another car one. Ferdinand Porsche.
Maybe like a Healy.
I'll give him a ride in the Healy. Ferdinand Porsche, the Austrian automobile pioneer, Porsche AG. He dies at 88. And the year was 1998.
I can tell you a story about Ferdinand Porsche. He was put in jail by the Gestapo.
Really?
Along with Louis Renault.
But the people's car,
and the
VW, was basically his car.
He'd done it before he got put in the clink.
Why did they put him in the clink?
Well, they found out that he was conspiring with Louis Renault, who was sort of the favourite country at the time with Germany. And he was actually designing a people's car for the French.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Nothing at all, except the Gestapo took exception to that because he'd already designed the people's car for Germans. And what happened is Louis Renault never came out of the clink. He died at the hands of the Gestapo.
Well, some of those early...
But Porsche went on to design the Renault 750.
Right. Was that the one with the fastback?
The Renault 750 looked like a little Beetle. It was a smaller version of a Volkswagen. Same transmission, forward opening doors.
Have you ever had a Volkswagen?
I've had about 30 Volkswagens, but I've had 3 Renault 750s and I absolutely love them. They are gorgeous little cars.
Yes.
But that's an interesting story.
They
were designed by Ferdinand Porsche.
I think I said to you once I've never owned a VW, and that's not true.
I've just sold one, actually.
Let me tell you the story.
That was the white one.
Do you know what I bought with the money?
What?
An Austin Healey.
Well, we'll have to introduce the Healeys and see if we can't make
they
some
like each other.
Little
we
Healeys.
should have someone from the Healey Club. The story of Donald Healey is absolutely fascinating.
What's his first name?
Donald Healey. Yeah.
Well, this one comes from the Healey factory in Melbourne. I believe they turn out a very nice car.
Indeed they do. Robbie Rowlands runs that place, and their restorations are top of the pile.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. A lot of spare parts available.
Let me tell you how I got a VW. I was working at Channel 10 at the time, and one of the sound people there had decided to go to America and try his luck in the movies. And he was selling everything he had, which, if you worked in television in those days, wasn't much. You know,
we probably need it to survive to the next.
He was selling everything, including his VW. So what he did...
A Beetle.
His Beetle, yes. And he couldn't get what he thought was a decent price. So he decided to raffle it. It was a great idea.
Perfectly reasonable.
Yeah. $5. We were in decimal currency then, weren't we? Yeah. It was 69, I think it was. So it was $5 to buy a ticket. And, I always got on very well with him, and he asked me if I'd buy a ticket, and I said yes. Mind you, $5 was a fair amount of money. But then again, how many people were going to buy a ticket, and what were the chances of winning it?
How many wanted a $5 Volkswagen?
Yeah, well...
At the time, they probably weren't worth much.
I won it.
You won it.
I won it.
You've had a Beetle.
I have had a Beetle.
Did you drive it home?
It was a very good car.
Oh, they are. Very good cars.
I did have it for probably 6 months or so. And there was a lovely young lady I knew at the time. What was her name? Her name was Diane. We'll just leave it at that.
I wonder if she can still remember your name.
I don't know. Probably not. Anyway, she was in need of a car, so I gave it.
She was in need, was she?
So I gave it to her.
You qualified that.
It was a blue one.
A blue one?
Yep, nice.
Light blue or dark blue?
No, light blue.
A light baby blue. Beautiful.
Well, I don't know if it was baby blue, but it was
sky blue.
Sky blue, that sort of colour.
Okay.
Yeah. No, very nice car.
Turns me on and stays by my side till the night is gone. From the day I was born till the day I go, I wanna listen to the radio. Oh, listen to the radio.
Speaking about cars, Gary, EV sales are on the move.
Oh, I believe that.
Yeah.
They've been given a big rush with this oil crisis. You imagine the number of people rushing out to buy an electric car at the moment.
Never waste a good crisis.
Never waste a good crisis. I've always said there's nothing better than a silent car, which is why I bought a Rolls Royce.
I just like the throb of an engine, frankly. Sorry.
Well, so do I. We did notice on that Austin Healey, it's got a set of headers on it. I was so excited when I saw that.
What do you mean by a set of headers?
Well, on the exhaust side, you get a better flow of gases if the exhaust system is a bunch of pipes, for instance, rather than just all exiting in one pipe.
Yeah.
A set of headers will exit in quite a number of pipes that will join later on down the line, which improves horsepower, fuel economy, and most importantly, the noise that comes out the back is beautiful.
I love the burble.
We haven't heard that new car that you've bought running yet, but I can only imagine it'll have a very deep burble to it. It'll be beautiful.
Well, the trouble with the EV things, though, quite frankly, 80% of the energy produced in this country comes from fossil fuels.
Exactly.
And the fossil fuels are used to charge the batteries.
That's right.
It just got a round robin of stupidity.
Well, it's a way of getting the public to part with their money. Everyone's a winner. Everyone leases cars. No one buys cars anymore. So the finance companies are making a killing. The government gets all the taxes when the vehicles are transferred. The transfer fees are outrageous, and so no wonder they encourage it. And they've got the public convinced that they're going to help the environment, which they won't. The amount of energy that is put into the manufacture of those things, not to mention what are you going to do with all the batteries? Yeah. They're not worth a cracker second hand. Have you ever seen a second hand EV for sale?
No, they've got no resale value.
The dealers just run.
Yep, that's true. Has anybody heard of this European Union, the EU, free trade agreement? Now that should take the luxury car tax off the BMWs.
Yes, that would be handy, wouldn't it?
Well, the luxury car tax should have been gotten rid of donkeys years ago.
Shouldn't have been brought in. It was
when
it was a tax of envy by Paul Keating.
Yeah, Paul Keating and Bob Hawke. Yeah,
the Howard government actually stopped all the manufacture of cars here, and so there was no reason to have a luxury car tax. It was a protectionist.
It's a tax on envy.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
It's a tax on envy.
It's a tax on accomplishment and envy and aspiration. And you don't tax these things.
No,
you encourage
them. If you want a country to get going, you support people.
Yeah, well, I reckon that's right. But I have not heard a word.
Cut them down.
I haven't heard anybody say, these luxury cars, so-called, they're not really luxury in Europe.
I think it's above $90,000 is where LCT cuts in. But see, they'd have to reduce it gradually, I think, because otherwise the existing second-hand cars would suddenly drop.
Yeah. But
so I think they'll do it over time, if at all. I'm not sure how that's going to work.
Well, I think somebody should make an announcement about it because people aren't going to go and buy a car if they're going to be cheaper tomorrow.
I must look that up.
Well, there's nothing cheaper at the moment than a new EV. You can buy one for $20,000.
But what's going to happen when the government starts taking back all of these subsidies? You know, $33 billion, the government, that's us, we spend on subsidising the green industries, including electric cars.
It's total nonsense, the whole thing.
$33 billion. And it's all off the budget. It's off page, it's off the books.
Yeah, what annoys me is that prior to EVs becoming as popular as they are now, internal combustion engines were virtually pollution-free. They were pretty good.
Yes,
they weren't producing much pollution at all.
But even if they weren't pollution-free, the thing is that Australia produces around 1%, 1.1% of global emissions. It doesn't matter what we do. It makes no difference.
It's irrelevant.
Speaking of energy, though, here's something I just noticed. China move could doom Aussie flights as jet fuel shipments drop to zero. So China supplies about a third of our jet fuel requirements, and they have scheduled zero shipments for next month.
Mm-hmm.
So the only other suppliers are South Korea and Singapore.
Have you ever heard of an electric aeroplane?
So no, it's not going to happen. So China's saying we're going to keep all of our jet fuel for our own use and not ship it to people like Australia. So, it's not just for travel, it's for shipments of goods
that
and
means they won't
things.
get our gas.
Well, it's perfectly reasonable.
I don't think they buy it anyway. Does China get our gas? They get it coal and stuff.
They get coal and...
well, that's what we need to do. We need to reciprocate.
Well,
okay. We need to
something from
reciprocate.
Trump. I mean, that's one good thing he's come up with.
This is a dickhead that's causing this chaos around the world. He's really pissing me off. Iran probably didn't have weapons of mass destruction, as they said, with Iraq.
I'm sure they haven't.
And they fluffed it all up into a worldwide disaster.
He's got himself
$7 trillion
into a big pickle there.
off the US stock market yesterday.
Well, why would they want to do that? Why would Trump do that if there wasn't a good cause?
Because he's an effing idiot. He really is.
He's telling porkies and he's getting caught.
He can't. He's just such a liar every time. We're having negotiations with Iran. Well, they seem to deny
the
that, don't
Iranians say that the Yanks are negotiating with themselves.
Well, I don't know. I promised John that we would ring him.
Oh, John.
Yeah, we might do that. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about was this Meta and Google lawsuit. Isn't it interesting?
Yeah.
This young lady...
big settlement.
Well, $3 million and $3 million in damages. So it's $6 million. But they will appeal. I mean, Meta and Google... would have a phalanx of whatever the collective noun for lawyers might be.
A worry.
A flock.
A worry of lawyers. A litigation of lawyers.
Is John there?
I don't know.
No, he's still calling.
Still ringing, yeah. We'll see if he's there. I said I'd ring anyway. Hello?
Hello.
Hello, Pat. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Do you want John, do you?
Has he got a second? I said I'd ring him.
Okay, hang a minute.
And you can call us too if you'd like to on 0491 65 68 60.
Morning, Jeremy.
How are you, John?
Not bad, thank you.
What's on your mind this morning?
Oh, heaps on my mind this morning.
Well, go for it. Get it all off.
Well, this fuel crisis, like we've just been watching Minister Bowen on there reckons that they've managed to get fuel released within 4 days after, which would normally take 18 months. What a lot of crock,
John, I just read that China has stopped all jet fuel deliveries to Australia for next month. So that's a third of our jet fuel comes from China, and there's going to be zero arriving. So that's a disaster.
Of course it is, mate. Like, they reckon they've released 20% of the emergency fuel what have you. Like another thing that's coming out now, surcharges on restaurants, cafes, and what have you, because of rising costs for deliveries.
Yeah.
You know, it's unbelievable. And because then we had the state election, and what a disaster that was. God almighty. You know, and we're going to have to put up with another 4 years of pain as far as I'm concerned. I can't see it getting any better. I really can't. It's and it beggars belief. Jeremy, while I've got you on the phone, I believe you went to a function yesterday too.
What did you hear about that, John?
What did I hear about that? It was to do with a radio station that he once worked for, and they had Bob Burns, and I can't think of the other chap's name.
Oh, there were quite a few former and current 5AA people there.
Leith Forrest was there.
Leith Forrest,
Michael Keelan.
Nobody brought up the ratings.
Keith Conlon.
They all
Keith
ignored
Conlon,
that.
yeah.
Keith Conlon. Well, he's an old-timer.
Yeah, he was right there at the beginning, wasn't he?
Oh, he was, yes, at the very beginning. No, that was John, that was a thing, a rat's lunch. They do about 3 or 4 a year, and RATS stands for Radio
and TV Survivors, is
what
it?
Is it?
Radio and TV Survivors, I think.
Radio...
Television Survivors.
Television Survivors.
And TV Survivors.
Well, your name got mentioned last night on the radio by Leith Forrest.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh.
And I thought, well. Apparently KG and Cornsey were there, and quite a Baz and Pilco, that sort of...
Yep, they were there.
Oh, wow.
Not sitting at the same table. I thought that was interesting.
Right, okay. Yeah, but... that was another topic that was raised last night. I thought, well.
Oh, the other up-and-coming star, Richard Pascoe, was there?
Yeah. Now, with this fuel crisis, like, I can't see any way out of it immediately. I really can't. And a lot of petrol stations have got empty. And, like...
Is it because people are just buying more than they normally would, or is it actually because things aren't being delivered? I'm not sure which. I think it's probably like a toilet paper thing.
Yeah,
people
people
more
are
than
buying
they need.
more than what they should. One rule they could bring in straight away: no jerry cans at a big field.
It's ridiculous to have cans of petrol lying around your house.
Yeah, well, it is. It's dangerous.
It's bloody dangerous.
Yeah. But where that's going to go, I just don't know. And, it's...
Don't you think, John, it should be that a government should be able to see over the horizon? In fact, its responsibility is to be able to see over the horizon to the point where we would not be or should not be in a position like this. We should not be vulnerable.
Well, as one of my colleagues said to me, when you come to consider it, they consider that Australia is the wealthiest country, and we're a big continent, as we all know. You would have thought that fuel would have been a main priority for the country, but we are running at one of the lowest rates worldwide, and that's not a laughing matter. That's quite serious, you know.
John, do you think on balance what Trump and Israel have done with Iran is a good or a bad thing? I'm sort of in two minds. I think they've probably done a very, very stupid thing, because it could be another weapons of mass destruction thing where there wasn't really a big problem to solve. The nuclear stuff they said they had, I just think they've unleashed a global disaster.
I don't
at
think
every
Trump's
level.
got any idea how
He's
deep he is.
Damn idiot. He just shouldn't be anywhere in the world. I'm sick of the guy. Anyway, what do you reckon, John? Do you reckon it's a good or a bad thing?
No, I honestly think it's a bad thing. I think, the way Trump's carrying on, you think he is master of the world. Well, he's not, you know.
He's a brainless bozo at the end of the day. He really is. He's a brainless bozo. He's
bozo,
just terrible.
I like that.
That's what Robert De Niro called him.
Yeah, well,
this bozo running our country.
Yeah, well, you know what the term for bozo is, don't you? Clown.
Absolutely. Well, that's being polite towards him as well.
Yeah, but just talking with my wife, she said that he needs to have a mental assessment. He shouldn't have the right to be able to dictate to the world. He's not God, and that's the way he's trying
deranged, deluded. He can't put a sensible sentence together. I mean, this is meant to be the president that you respect. He should have been in jail by now. He had 4 convictions in 2024 that he weaseled out of each and every one by paying off the judges, the corruption. Judge Eileen Cannon with his documents case, the insurrection case, he got out of all of them. And then as the election drew near, they said, we better drop these because he might become president. I mean, where's the justice in their system? And then he went after every law firm ever involved in a case against him and destroyed them.
Well, it's the same with people that he's had in certain positions. If they don't agree by his ruling, they get the flick real quick. Like, that's just how he is.
Well, Rudy Giuliani was quite a well-respected person until he became Trump's lawyer, and he he everything. He got sued for $150 million, I think it was. And he's had to sell everything. Lost his practicing certificate.
It's not a good situation, and all we can do is hope that it improves quicker than we'd like. Like, I was supposed to be having a luncheon today with some colleagues, and it's because of the fuel crisis. It's bad enough, the price of it, as one of my colleagues said to me, but where they were coming from out at Parafield Gardens and Paralawi, and it's the replacement. Like, you use quarter of a tank to come down into the Glenelg Footy Club and get back home. If you can't replace it, you've just run yourself short.
Well, that's what I'm doing as well. I'm not doing any long-distance trips for a while.
Yeah. Well, you
might get stuck with nothing.
We had a group of 16 come in and ended up going down to a group of 6, so we decided to cancel it.
And that ripples through to the restaurants then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Restaurant trade.
Well, it just goes round the entire economy. Everything is so interrelated, everything is touched, and many people will be destroyed because of all of this. Why wouldn't the government cut the petrol excise, the petrol tax? It's been done before.
In a sense, though, by keeping the price higher, it does discourage people from using as much.
But the government is profiteering. The government is actually making money out of
Well,
this.
they are.
Well, they are.
They need the money. But
from what we heard on the TV the other day, with this petrol being a high rate that it is, the government are going to rake in about $300 million out of it. Right? And do you think once we do get petrol supplies that the government are going to be quick to get all the service stations filled up? I don't think so. They like the idea of it being at the price. And most of my friends believe that when we get back to a normal way of living again, they don't reckon petrol will go below $2. There you go.
That's always the case, isn't it? Never drops as quickly.
No, and it's the same with banks with home mortgage rates, mate. The same thing. If the RBA decides to put it up by 25%, the banks are on it straight away within hours. But when there's a decrease, they're very slow to react.
The other thing they do, John, is they put it up for borrowers on the next day, and then they wait a month for depositors before they give them more.
You know, of course, that the banks don't have to do it. The banks don't really have to do what the RBA says.
They don't.
It's a choice.
And look at the profits that they're making. That's what really annoys me. You know, when you hear the massive profits.
You want profitable banks. You don't want banks that lose money.
Oh, no, I can understand that, Jeremy, but when you're talking billions of dollars, someone's doing very well out of it, and it isn't the average person. That's the fact, you know. And they're just making life more difficult for all Australians. They really are.
Yeah, yep.
All right, well, that's my kit bag for the week.
Well, I'm glad you contributed. Thank you.
All right, no worries.
Thanks, John.
You have a good day. And are you going to be on? No, you won't be on next week, Jeremy.
No, it's Good Friday. We're having the Friday off.
Yeah. Happy Easter to you all.
Happy Easter to you too.
And let's hope we
news
get
next
some
time.
sort of sense after Easter.
Let's hope so. Thanks, John.
Whether you're building your first, second or third home or a seasoned property developer, no one likes extra scary costs. Rossdale Homes get that, which is why they pride themselves on their absolute fixed price guarantee. They believe trust is a must, and with their guarantee and fixed price contracts, you'll get no nasty surprises. For peace of mind, trust Rossdale, where only you can change the price. rossdalehomes.com.au, trust is a must. BLD 8104.
You keep lying when you ought to be truthin'. And you keep losing when you ought to not bet. You keep saying when you ought to be a-changin'. Now what's right is right, but you ain't been right yet. These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do. One of these days these boots are gonna walk all over you.
When I grow up to be a man, I won't lie for you, I won't die for you, 'cause I think you're wrong, Mr. President. You got to get yourself together. You ask me if I'll be your friend. I can't tell you right now. I might be making a vow, and I could be wrong. You got to get yourself together.
Who's that? Dave D. Dozy Beaky McIntyre.
Yes, Mr. President.
You're kidding.
Dozy Beaky McIntyre, 1960-something?
Yeah.
Mid-60s.
Yeah.
Good song.
You saw that story about too many screens will rot your brain?
No.
Yeah.
Keep going.
It's being said in Britain, if you watch too many screens, and I take it that would be not including television
We've
screens.
only got 4 here, so...
Only 4 screens, and there's your phone. And
5, 6,
Yes.
7...
Well,
my brain's rotting.
Yeah, you watch
Not really.
too many screens too often and your brain will turn to mush. It will rot. Oh, right, look, I don't know if that can be scientifically demonstrated, but certainly there seems to be something wrong with society that wasn't.
Well, there's a lot of brains around that could be put into that category.
Well, yeah.
That's the reason.
So then you put that story with the Meta and Google paying out $6 million to a woman who started social media when she was 6 years old. Now, if I was the judge, I would say, listen, Meta and Google are in business. That's what they do. What were your parents doing?
She couldn't be too mushy in the brain if she screwed them for that amount of money.
Well, I don't know.
I would have thought she was pretty smart.
But there she was, 6 years old, up to 16 hours a day, stuck in front of a screen, social mediaing.
She's obviously a very social person.
Well, he doesn't get much more social than 16.
No, that's pretty darn social.
No time to even go to the loo.
I call it anti-social media.
Anti-social.
Well, anti-social media. Well, we're social media. Don't be too
careful.
critical.
This is top of the pile radio here.
No. This is social. This is social.
This is very social. It's
Very
dial-in
chatty.
democracy. It's a fast track on the turnpike of truth.
Every player can win a prize.
Everyone wins a
Just
prize.
phone us in, folks, with your issue.
This is radio as it should be.
Indeed. Democratic radio.
And as it could be, indeed. Telephone number, if you'd like to join us, 0491 65 68 60. Coming up on the program, we've got Leith van Onselen from Macro Business. We've spoken to him before, and I want to talk to him about the way the government is handling the fuel crisis and see what his spin on the subject is. Christine Esau, and, she calls herself Christine Esau, and now that she's married to Mike Young, it's Christine Esau Young. She's a very interesting character. Well, they both are. Mike is a climate warrior, and Christine is a former very, very good journalist. Professor Rocky Scopoletti, he is a futurologist. I don't know how.
What does that mean?
Well, he doesn't have a glass crystal ball, no. But I suppose as a specialty or as a science,
is it sort of like a clairvoyant, is it? Or?
No.
Futurism is a
futurist.
Futurism is a discipline, university discipline, a very important one at that, to be able to try and work out,
map out the
directions things are going.
Well, how do you teach that?
Oh, well, it's about creativity and inventive thinking and having a broad view of things and an understanding of the history of the evolution of industry. It's all involved in that.
Do you reckon they get it right
I used to
some of the
teach it.
time? Do you reckon they come close to getting it right?
Yes. Well, government actuaries are pretty clever people. There's rooms full of them. And unless they did have some idea of the direction things are going... Well, John Bruni, who's not here today, unfortunately...
he's ill, actually.
And we send our best regards to John. He's an absolute gentleman.
And Professor Plimer is in Texas.
As you would be. Is he looking for oil? Or?
Well, look...
She's going to bring some back.
Do you know what always... Sorry, Jim.
With him, you never know.
Do you know what always amused me, because I've been to Texas quite a few times, is that every 100 yards there's an oil well that's capped. I mean, people's backyards are in the middle of the road.
Just in case.
Yeah, well, I've always thought the Yanks, I'll use that word if I may, they're pretty clever, you know. They use up everyone else's oil in the world, and then things come to a close towards the end, they'll open up their own.
Well,
Actually,
that's self-sufficient. We should be self-sufficient.
Was it John Salerno that was here a couple of weeks ago?
John Salerno. Peter Salerno.
Peter, sorry. My apologies, Peter. Peter did say that South Australia had oil.
I think we've got some in Bass. We used to have Bass Strait, and I think there's some in the Great Australian Bight as well, but it's very hard to get to in terms of access.
Yeah, but Peter, he was adamant about it. He said, this state has got oil. Well, I'd like to pursue that idea.
I think we had it's more gas, I think,
in.
that's economically achievable.
Well, the whole gas thing
In America, what's the law? Do you own what's underneath your land?
Or the Beverly Hillbillies did.
No. Well, yeah, the Beverly Hillbillies did. They did really well, didn't they?
Everyone is a wildcatter.
There was a man and his name was Jed.
Yeah.
Don't make me play it.
No. Anyway, and...
Ellie Mae was nice.
Yeah. You say it's not Andrea Clisby.
It's Andrina.
Andrina. I don't think I've ever spoken to or run across an Andrina
Well, your luck's going to change. She'll be here in a minute.
Yep. About 11:30, I believe.
Yeah, Clisby.
When you were in America, in Texas, did you ever go to the Alamo?
Yes, I've been to the Alamo. Yes.
What is it like?
Well, it's a tourist trap, of course.
Yeah, but I sort of think of it as a...
it's like a fortress.
A fort,
timber
as displayed in the movie.
Yep, just what you see in the movie is what you see when you go there.
Well, I'm
in
told
fact,
it was...
I've been to the gunfight at OK Corral as well.
Really?
Yeah, they put on the gunfight. You can see them all fall over and shoot at each other.
Was that in Tombstone or in Dodge?
It's in Tombstone, I think.
Tombstone territory.
A long time ago, Jeremy. You're really
television.
testing me. I should have done some research on this.
There was a television program called Tombstone Territory.
My father was a huge fan of westerns.
Yeah.
And there was on a Tuesday night, I think it was, at Kensington Road there at the beautiful old theatre that's still there. He'd go there with a mate of his and they'd watch westerns.
Yeah.
And it was John Wayne and, leather waistcoats and...
Yep. It's a wonderful genre.
Quick draw McGraws and...
Riding boots.
The Buntline Special.
No, Buntline.
I had a Buntline Special when I was a young boy, a cat gun, of course, but a big long snout on it.
A long barrel, but it made a difference because you could. It was very accurate.
Yeah, the Buntline Special. What a great name for a gun.
Ed Buntline.
Ed Buntline. Fantastic. I was going to say earlier on when we were talking about the US, and there's so much negativity that we hear about the US, but having been there a few times, it really is a fabulous country. And it's well, it still is. The geography of America is just spectacular. To see the giant sequoias and the parks and so on is really special.
Okay, we'll resume that later. Not Peter. It's a cousin of Leith. Leith Van Onselen's on the line. How are you, Leith?
Yeah, g'day, Jeremy. How's things?
Very good. We're talking about the fuel crisis. And the government, everyone's talking about the fuel crisis, but nobody quite knows what to do about it. What do you think of the handling by the government? Are they doing, what sort of job are they doing? Give them a mark out of 10.
Look, pretty poorly. I'd say probably, I don't want to be too harsh on the current government. The reason being, this has been a problem that is really, manifested for the past 25 years. And the reason why I say that is that at the start of the century or early 2000s, we had 7 fuel refineries in the country. Right, so we had 7 in Australia that could produce petrol, diesel, etc.
Yep.
Now we only have 2. Right, and a lot of those refineries actually shut down under the former coalition government, but they've basically we've been shutting down our domestic capability to turn crude oil into petrol, diesel, aviation fuel for the last 20 odd years. Right, so that's one of our vulnerabilities. The other vulnerability is that we are a member of the International Energy Agency. And under the requirements of being a member of that, we're supposed to have 90 days worth of liquid fuel stored within the country.
Yep.
Now, Japan and Korea have over 200, for example.
Yeah.
New Zealand even has 90 days, but 90 days is the minimum requirement. But Australia's only had about 30 days, right? So our federal government, on both sides of the aisle, so I can't just blame the current government, but former governments, recent governments, they've basically given up energy security for a just-in-time system whereby they assume that liquid fuels would be available from Asia whenever we need them. Now, obviously, that was a stupid, very stupid policy, very risky policy. And given the war in the Middle East and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, that's now created a massive problem because we don't have much storage here. We don't have much fuels already in the country stored. And we also don't have much refining capacity to even turn crude oil into petrol, diesel, and aviation fuel. And that is really the genesis of the problem. Now, what the current government could do, so you can't really unscramble the egg, right? It's already happened. We've got to deal with what we've got. But what we do have in our favour is that we are one of the world's biggest liquefied natural gas exporters. And one of the other major players who exports similar amounts to us is Qatar. Qatar has now been shut down through the Strait of Hormuz. It's also had some of its infrastructure damage. So Australia now has more dominance in the global liquefied natural gas market. So what I believe our government should be doing is leveraging that to ensure that we get deliveries of petrol, diesel, and aviation fuel. So, for example, Korea is one of our major suppliers of liquid fuels, so refined liquid fuels, petrol, diesel, etc. They are also one of the major buyers of our liquefied natural gas. They're one of our major customers. We should be saying to Korea, you must guarantee the supply of liquid fuels, and if you do that, we'll guarantee the supply of liquefied natural gas. And if you can't supply those things, well, we're going to pull back supply of liquefied natural gas. We should do the same to China. So China is one of our major buyers of East Coast liquefied natural gas, and China has actually stopped supplying us with aviation fuel. Yep. Right, because China's banned exports. We should be saying to China, we should be saying to China, okay, you've got to supply us with aviation fuel in return for us supplying you with LNG. Quid pro quo.
Exactly
so why wouldn't they be smart enough in Canberra to do that? Take your advice.
Well, good question. Like we do have obviously we're a massive importer of liquefied fuels. Liquefied fuels are about 42% of our energy consumption as a country. So all this brouhaha about renewables don't even make up 10% of our energy consumption.
Yeah,
liquefied fuels is the biggest one, and diesel in particular is massively important. So diesel makes up about 56% of our liquid fuel demand, and obviously we need diesel for freight because we're a big country. So pretty much every good that's in a supermarket or in a store has been transported there by diesel. Also, we use diesel in agriculture massively. We use diesel in mining, and if we have shortages of diesel, basically the entire economy stops. So it means your store shelves go bare. It means that agricultural crops wither in the field; they can't be harvested. Farmers decide not to harvest crops because they can't be guaranteed there's going to be fuel to actually harvest them. and it means that miners shut down. We've already seen some mines in WA actually close and lay off workers because they don't have enough diesel fuel. So Australia should be leveraging our dominant position in as being one of the world's biggest suppliers of liquefied natural gas to Asia to guarantee liquid fuel supplies from Asia, because that's where we get most of our supplies from their processors. Now, that would be a logical solution to the problem that we have. It wouldn't guarantee that prices stay low. Obviously, we'd still pay high prices, but a bigger risk to us is not so much prices, it's that we actually run out of diesel, and that actually shuts down the economy. It means when you go to a store, the shelves will be bare. We can't harvest crops. We can't, obviously, operate mines, etc., which is where we earn most of our export income from. So that is what the government should be doing.
I don't know whether Macro Business, your company, has the government as a client, but they bloody well should be sensible enough to hire you.
Oh, thank you. Well, I mean, look. Economics is not actually that difficult. It's really just common sense and logic most of the time. And most of the time, the ordinary punter in Australia has, they can sense what's wrong, right? So they can sense that we're running an excessive immigration policy, for example, because the rental market is in absolute crisis. And they go, well, hang on, why are we bringing in more people than we can supply houses for? That's pretty logical. This is also fairly logical, this situation that we've got in. We are the world's biggest exporter of coal. We are the world's second biggest exporter of liquefied natural gas, and we're now more important than ever because Qatar has been knocked out. So our market power in the export of liquefied natural gas has actually increased. So we have more power. So we should really be using that power to effectively leverage the guarantee of supply of liquid fuels.
It's a strange thing that this supply chain expert or czar or whatever she is, they've chosen, or Chris Bowen has chosen, somebody who is a climate warrior and not an expert in logistics.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, obviously it's another political pick, and I don't understand why you get a climate warrior in such an important role. We really need someone who's a logistical expert and actually understands the energy market.
Yeah,
that would be the smart thing to do. And quite frankly, one of the good things that could come out of this crisis is that hopefully people will downrank net zero and all that sort of stuff in importance, and they will uprank energy security. Which, let's be honest, what's the point of Australia having a military, even bothering to run a military, if we can't even guarantee that we can put diesel and petrol and aviation fuel in our jets, in our tanks, in our submarines, etc. Like, what's the point? If Australia runs out of fuel, and we're running very thin margins, obviously with only 30 days storage versus 90 days minimum requirement that the IEA says, and 200 in Japan and Korea, 200 plus days.
Yeah.
What's the point of even bothering with a military? Like, we cannot defend the country. We cannot grow our own food. We cannot supply all the things we need if we don't have a guaranteed supply of liquid fuels. Because unfortunately, like it or not, the Australian economy is powered on diesel, because we are obviously a very large country, so you need a lot of freight, both shipping, road freight, rail freight. But we're also a heavy agricultural country versus other countries, and also a heavy mining country, and all those things require diesel. And if we run out of diesel, literally the economy stops.
Leith, we've got a government that runs on ideology, not common sense.
That's right. And I'm hoping that the ordinary punter out there after this crisis realises that we've basically been focusing on the wrong things. I mean, it's all good to be idealistic, but you've got to be realistic here. And Australia is 1% of the world's carbon emissions. And we somehow think that we can, sacrifice ourselves at the energy altar to save the world's climate, when other countries like China and India don't care. They're doing whatever they want. Yeah. They're massively increasing their carbon emissions every year. They're burning more coal every year, etc. They're not playing by the same rules, and they're the ones actually driving the rise in global carbon emissions. So since the start of the turn of the century, China and India alone have accounted for about 80% of the rise in the world's carbon emissions. Well, what are we doing here? Australia is literally accounted for 0.3% of the rise in the world's carbon emissions this century, and we only account for 1% of the world's carbon emissions on an annual basis.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter what we do. Absolutely. I've asked people that question, and I get, we have to set an example. Oh, what bull dust.
Absolute bull dust. It is absolute bull dust. You've got to be realistic here, and energy security should be the number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It should be energy security, energy security, energy security. That should be the primary focus of our policymakers, and all this other stuff.
And that'll look after the cost of living thing as well.
Yeah, that's right. It'll safeguard the economy, but it's not just that. It's instead of focusing on this net zero thing, whatever. How about just to focus on energy security and efficiency? So instead of trying to say, everyone's got to drive an EV or whatever, why not try and encourage people, say, into standard hybrid cars like they do in Japan? So I went to Japan last year, and virtually every single car in Japan is just a Toyota or a Honda hybrid, right? Yeah. They're not doing all this electric vehicle stuff because they know that to do that, you've got to completely rewire the entire electricity network, which will cost, in Australia's case, hundreds of billions of dollars plus, maybe $1 trillion to completely rework the entire electricity system. A much simpler fix is just to try and shift the passenger fleet into standard hybrids, where you get basically double the range as you do from regular internal combustion engines. They're incredibly reliable and they're proven technology. And if you do that, you get more efficiency.
It's a nice thing. It's a nice thing to do, Leith. But the fact is that we make so little difference to the problem. We could afford to do nothing. But these people are driven. They're driven by their green agenda to the extent that I was listening to 3AW the other day, and it was a story about the off-the-books industry, the green industry. We are paying $33 billion a year on subsidies and funny industries and setups that private enterprise don't want a bar of, but the government is in there with its ears back with our money.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. I wouldn't be surprised if actually more than that, because it's very obscure, like how these subsidies work. And we've literally blown billions of dollars on this green hydrogen fantasy, which doesn't even it's not a viable industry, which hasn't taken off anywhere in the entire world. And we've spent billions of dollars on this thing. Like, it's just it is basically virtue signaling over practicality.
Why do you think we're so obsessed?
Good question. It's it's almost like a mind virus has taken over Australia in a whole bunch of areas. And unfortunately, the energy is so critical to, especially Australia, but it's obviously critical to every economy, but especially Australia, the way our economy is structured, the size of it, the massive distances that we have to go to transport goods from A to B or people, etc., that we need to make sure, and the fact that we are endowed with massive energy wealth. Yes, we don't have a lot of oil wealth, although we could probably explore for more, but unfortunately that's now pretty much prohibited as well. We can't even drill for it. But we do have massive reserves of gas, massive reserves of coal, massive reserves of uranium, the world's biggest storage of uranium. We should be energy independent in so many ways. But instead we're giving up all that stuff. We're happy to sell 7 times more coal to the rest of the world than we burn ourselves.
Yep.
But then we deny ourselves the burning of coal.
Yeah, but hang on, Leith. They're burning it in a different atmosphere. Haven't you heard?
Yeah. It makes no sense.
No, none of it. But where's the opposition? Where is the media on all of this?
Yeah, they're just asleep at the wheel, unfortunately. Which is why programs like this and others which are outside the traditional mainstream media are so important, because they can't silence us.
No, they can't.
But unfortunately, I'm hoping the elevation of One Nation now will start to turn the dial on some of these issues, because they, to their credit, they're the ones who aren't afraid to actually talk the truth on these sorts of things.
No, I totally agree with you. Leith van Onselen, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem, Jeremy, anytime.
You're listening to the Court of Public Opinion with Jeremy Cordeaux, where the time is 11 a.m. Australian Central Standard Time.
Hey, what's the weather for the weekend gonna be? Will it be hot, cold, rain, snow?
And the weather today in Adelaide, it will be a partly cloudy day.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by, brought to you on, brought to you by RADI. Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120,
Telephone number, if you'd like to join us, 0491 65 68 60 is the telephone number. We've got guests coming through the door at the rate of knots. Oh, wonderful. Now, everybody's got to sit down. Mike Young has arrived. Christine Esau has arrived. And Andrina. What a beautiful name. I've never met an Andrina before. Lovely to see you all. Thank you for coming in. Mike, being a climate interested person, we were just talking...
It's temperature. It's cold today. We're all interested in the climate.
It is cold, yes. But one of the things I love about Adelaide is that almost to the day the seasons change, and it's not done. I don't know what you think about summer, but it was a pretty mild summer to me.
It was a very pleasant summer. We had a lovely
very pleasant summer.
Yes. The thing I like most about it is you can predict the weather here because it comes all the way from Perth, and so the forecasts are accurate. But we rarely get it wrong. Sometimes it rained yesterday while I was cycling.
Yeah,
but that was fun.
Yeah.
It dried out pretty quick. It wasn't supposed to rain. It was just a quick splash.
No. How's your dad?
He's well at the moment. He's very well. He's looking forward to Easter.
Yeah.
There is a Henry Young Masters competition on, and he's supervising that, I guess would be the best way to say it.
And then he plans to walk in the Anzac Day Parade as well.
Yes.
A couple of weeks later, he's planning to walk in the Anzac Day Parade again. He's about the oldest person that walks, I think.
And probably the tallest.
Yes, he would be.
Probably the tallest, but also I'm sure he's now the oldest, and he walks the whole way. And he's walking with his children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren.
He's a pretty remarkable man.
He is indeed.
Yeah.
Breakfast afterwards, ways at the Naval and Military.
Yes, he should get, I'm sure he's got some awards and all the rest of it. But
he has an OAM.
Yes. He deserves more. We'll have to think of a special order. I mean,
Order of longevity.
You could issue awards. We could have a Jeremy Cordeaux award.
Well, I'll be very happy to give him a tap on the shoulder, no problem. If Grace Tame can become the Australian of the Year, for God's sake, Henry Young should be way up there.
Well,
he saved the country in his youth and has gone on to set an example for us all.
Yes, true. We went out to dinner to Ambrosini's last night, one of your favourite restaurants, certainly Caroline's favourite restaurant, and mine too. And while we were there, Paul, who really owns the restaurant, came over because he loves catching up with Henry when we go there. And he said, "Oh, I'm so sorry." He said, "I had tickets to go and see him talk and see his new film, and I had the wrong time in there." And he said, "I was so looking forward to it." And so Jeffrey Reed apparently has given him a copy of the DVD, which was nice. Yeah, so you'll get there next week. You can talk about it.
Yes. Caroline's birthday. I'm never allowed to forget that.
Yes, you're not allowed to forget it, and that's where you need to book.
Yeah. The process of birthdays and birthday presents worries me a lot.
Yeah, but going out
I've given
dinner,
up doing it.
No. Dinner is celebrating life.
Yes, I know. But you too, happily married, lovebirds that you are. How do you handle birthdays and Christmases? Do you tell each other exactly what you want in the way of a gift, or
we do most of the time?
We
don't
do. We talk
do.
About it and we look for things, but it works out.
But we often don't need to go out to celebrate. We often go down to the beach. For me, because I'm a February baby, and so nothing nicer than sitting at the beach and just talking. And I love the beach. So
how did you two meet, by the way?
Melbourne Cup Day lunch. I was on my own. Mike was on his own.
And I liked her hat.
He did. He yelled out.
There's more to like than just a hat, I'm sure.
That's where it started.
But that's where it started.
He's a hat man.
We had a lovely lunch. And so Melbourne Cup's been the way we've celebrated our anniversary since then, rather than our wedding day. And we celebrated in Melbourne at Caroline's one year.
Okay.
Went to the Cup.
Did you chat him up, or did
he
Mike
chatted me up?
He chatted you up.
He chatted me up. Great. I wasn't really looking. I was just having a lovely day, but he was so easy to talk to. And,
we still talk from time to time.
Yeah, all the time.
We spend a lot of time together.
I think I have a casting couch in Mike's study, and he has one in mine.
Now, how does that work? Well, obviously.
Well, no, we do. We have a sofa in each other's studies because we have separate studies. And when I just want to sit and talk, I often find my way up there. A friend of Mike said that Mike could get a lot more work done if he removed the couching from the room.
Remove the couching
out of the room.
Oh, right. Yes. That could be part
wink,
of the
wink.
thing.
All right, we're back to what are we talking about today?
Well, anything and everything. What was Dunstan's wife's name? You know, the
real wife.
Co? Or,
Yes. They lived in separate houses. I couldn't.
Yeah. I was going to say. I said to her, because she gave us an interview.
Yes.
And she was very chatty and all. And I said, you're married to Don and you live in separate houses. And she said, yes. Look, because really married people say things like, let's have separate beds or let's have separate rooms.
I don't say that.
I say...
I don't say that.
Let's have separate houses. and I should have. I kicked myself.
Jeremy,
I should have said
you
why.
But you have enough houses to have separate houses, so you could do it if you wanted to, but I wouldn't recommend it.
It's something about visiting. You turn every meeting into an occasion rather than a fixture.
You can still do that. You know, during COVID, and as I said, we have separate studies. We both kept working different ends of the house. And we made a bit of a decision that we really needed to work separately. Mike had always had an office, so he wasn't used to it. But we worked from 9 till 12, took a break and had lunch together, and then worked till 6 o'clock, and then had a drink and dinner together. And that worked very successfully through COVID, and we've really not varied that. So even now, if we both do work, we still adopt that policy if we've got work to get done. So we still have occasions. We still meet for drinks in the back room almost every night. A lot of our friends marvel at that. And I say, well, that's the beauty of second marriages. You started after children, so you're not cooking dinners from 5 o'clock till 8.
But you need, like everything, a little practice. A little practice. It's good. What's the secret to a happy marriage?
Openness. I'm talking, communication.
Openness.
Yeah. And I'm having time for each other.
Yeah, respect.
And remembering to smile.
Respect, thinking about the positives, not worrying too much about the negatives.
What do you argue about?
Where he's left his socks. No. Nothing too much, really.
Where's my phone?
Bad habits.
Why can't I find it? Bad habits, reading the phone too much.
Oh, yes.
Which I'm trying to put it away.
Yes, Mike.
I've worked out I've become captured way too much by my phone. I'm trying to get rid of it.
You saw that British story that said that too much time in front of a screen is going to rot your brain.
Rot your brain.
But that's what I think happens because you rely on it more and more to look up information when it's already in your head. You just have to remember it.
Oh, but it's also the screen time. They're talking about the actual screen time having damage. And I think that could be true. A lot of the people that I know that have relied on phones for the last 10 years, I don't think they're as bright when we get together as they were. They're not such good company. They're not spontaneous. They've lost that humour.
Yep. And they might be able to type one-handed or two-handed, but they can't write. Right. Writing is a disappearing art.
I've been reading an interesting book called... well, that's terrible. There goes my brain. The Other Self or something like that. And it's about a woman who's an influencer and the trouble she gets into. And I think that's the other thing. People that are using media forget where the boundaries are of privacy and what's important. And I'm not surprised that, they get on and they talk about when they're going on holidays and so that the house is empty or where they had their coffee so people can go and see them. What their children are doing, what schools they go to. And this book is very much about the risks attached to being so public a person. So I think that's the other thing that we're forgetting about. I know they're stopping people under 16 and 18, but they're not stopping people. They're still giving so much about their lives away. I don't talk about my... Other than this morning.
Do you guys want a cup of tea, a glass of wine or something?
Not for me, thank you. I'm fine. Yeah. Anyway, we weren't going to talk about that.
But, an extension of what you're saying, this woman, when she was 6, she became addicted to the screens. So she is suing Meta and Google, and she's been given, probably there'll be an appeal, I don't know, but she's been given $6 million as compensation, because at the age of 6 she was spending 16 hours a day in front of a screen, and she is suing them for allowing it, or for doing it, or for providing it, or for something. My comment is, what were the parents doing?
I was about to say maybe she should think about suing a mother instead. She'd have more success. I don't think it's anybody's fault but the parenting. At 6 years old, she's not at school, or if she is at school, switch the phone off when she gets home. Throw it away. What's she doing with the phone and access?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. There are a lot of parents that use it as a babysitter. I mean, I know when I grew up with my children, we had...
Did you grow up with your children?
I did, because I started watching Play School too. And Play School wasn't around when I was a child, but when Annabelle was around and Kate was around, we certainly put the TV on at 9 o'clock, but we tended to watch it together. And that's what I'm saying. We used to grow up with Play School at 9 till 9:30, but then the TV went off and you started the day. It was a half an hour break.
Yes.
And it was quite educational too.
And then the other thing is too that people don't, modern families as such, don't actually get together at a dinner table and talk to each other.
That's something we do every night. We always sit down and eat together.
Yeah.
It's a routine.
Well, you see what I've done to this table.
Yeah, you've actually got another one out in the other room, so that's fine.
Well, yeah, sort of, yeah.
I started life on a farm. That was fantastic. There was no TV.
No.
It was just a farm and welders and trucks and tractors, and that's how we played. We went out and built things.
Yeah, well, that's a boy's dream, isn't it?
It was. Yeah, we built forts and
Your mother
underground ways.
My mother getting dressed for dinner.
Yes, well, my father did that. He was from the Navy, actually from the Navy, and and back in the 1950s, it was after the war, and we all had to wear a tie every night to dinner, and we sat down.
Well, it worked, didn't it? I mean, it was.
I still know how to hold my knife and fork. Yes,
and you know how to tie a Windsor knot, probably.
I do. I'm very proud of the fact I can tie it first time and it looks right.
Yeah, it's
very
an art.
few politicians can.
Well, yes, especially with
politicians.
That's if they wear a tie.
You mean know how to hold a knife and fork or tie a tie?
Oh, both.
Both.
Both. The number of people who use a fork in their right hand amazes me.
Well, it's an American thing, isn't it? They cut up their food and then they eat it with a fork.
Oh, wow.
It's a,
and speak at length without noise and impromptu. I think that, in the good old days of politics, people would arrive and they'd just stand up and they'd start talking and they would interact, have a conversation.
That's right.
Now but that is so tightly scripted.
But that's an art. It's an art that the old school politicians from both sides of politics do very well, because they cut their teeth on being able to stand up on a stump or on the back of a ute and argue with a crowd that was sometimes hostile. And knew how to duck rotten tomatoes when they were thrown, but they knew how to put their ideas out there and sell them.
Terrified of litigation these days.
And they didn't have any advisors, probably, or script writers.
That's right. Not 303, as we have
303. Well, it's worse than that, because there are 303 in the Premier's Department.
Well, that's just the Premier's Department.
That's just the Premier's Department, but there are about 470 spin doctors spread throughout the entire Cabinet. Yeah. So I don't know what these people actually write or think about or what their policies are, because it's all done by somebody else.
I think they all cancel each other out. So
how about
if you got rid of them all, the world might be better.
Then there's rooms of actuaries trying to figure out what's next.
How about AI? We've got a guy coming on later. His name is Professor Rocky Scapoletti. He's a futurologist, but he specialises in AI. Now, you can get rid of all those spin doctors, and AI could do it.
Terrifying.
Well,
terrifying.
It's possible.
I like it, and I use it a lot.
Yeah.
And it's really good at things you're not good at.
How do you use it?
Finding out stuff that I need to do if I'm looking for something to buy, asking AI to do a comparison.
But isn't that just like asking Google? Hey,
no,
Google?
It's not. There's a big difference. If you do it, you get it minus all the ads and things. If you go onto any site on Google, it takes you right into the detail of whatever car you want. If you want to compare 4 vacuum cleaners,
Yes.
I won't actually name the vacuum cleaner. I said, I want to compare between actually model 1, 2, 3 and 4. Can you give me a table?
Yes.
And it took about 15 seconds and it came back with the table I wanted, with the features, no more, no less, and that's what I want.
Are you sure that people can't buy that sort of priority? Because
it's very hard to find. You can control AI to do it what you want.
Oh, okay.
And it's very useful at that.
Yeah. Andrina.
Yes, Jeremy.
Do you use AI?
No, not at all.
No?
I'm old school.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
Me too.
Me three.
Well, there's nothing wrong with old school. I've never found anything wrong with it.
Jeremy, it's like word processors, and one of the arts we've lost. I can remember when I sat down for exams, we wrote them all longhand. Yes. And then people were just starting to learn to type.
Yeah.
Suddenly computers came around. Now writing and not making a mistake. You look at the people from earlier time, they would sit down and write beautiful diaries without any mistakes.
Mike, I'm not sure about that. I mean, I remember somebody talking about the perfect winery, and AI came back with it housed in a building. It hadn't taken into effect that the winery, the vines need to be outside. So it still makes mistakes.
Oh, yeah, it makes big mistakes.
Still makes big mistakes. And so people that rely on it, I think it's a danger.
Well, it's a bit of a work in progress, isn't it? Isn't it? It's like building an aeroplane that's flying, building it while it's up there.
Yeah.
But, it's a brave new world.
And people are now exploiting it. So if you actually think of AI and you're trying to influence, you actually put false information up so the AI picks it up and thinks it's right. So there's a whole business now emerging to try and trick AI to making it and supplying the wrong advice. So in universities now, we're teaching people how to use AI because you still have to think. But an AI system will pass an exam under the old standards.
Yes.
And that's very worrying. So what do you teach someone at university? You teach them how to use AI and how to think better than AI.
Yeah, but if you've got a lazy kid, and maybe all kids are lazy, and there's an opportunity to scam the system and have AI pass your exams, it means that we can no longer really go into a professional and assume that degree on the wall is an indicator of his real knowledge or her real knowledge. It's going to undermine the confidence that we have in professionals.
Yeah.
Big problem.
So I actually have used it a couple of times to actually draft legislation that I've been thinking about.
Yeah. What sort of legislation?
Water legislation will surprise you, but I've been thinking about how to fix up the Colorado, and I came up with
the Colorado River?
Yes.
What's wrong with it?
How long have you got? It's a long river. Yes, it might be the least of it, but it's a major problem, and at the moment supplies are very, very low. And I thought, what would happen if we did an Australian-style actually water reform in Colorado? And I wrote about a 3-pager doc form. Here's what you've got to do. And I thought, I wonder. And I fed it into AI and said, could you draft me an entire act of the federal government that could be taken to Congress?
The American government, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it came back in about 5 minutes, it took it, and wrote a very, very credible first draft. If I had hired a consultant and paid them $100,000, I would have got back roughly the same thing. So what do you need? You need people who can get that done, and that's where they start.
And that's all free.
It's all free.
It's amazing.
And that's not far-fetched because Mike designed water policy for Nevada, and so he was involved in designing the water policy that's been adopted in the Diamond Valley. And so he's done that work as a consultant for the Rockefeller Foundation at the time for the government in Nevada. So doing something for California and the Colorado is not far-fetched for Mike. It's just that he's been thinking about it because while Nevada is drier normally, the Diamond Valley has now got a solution that Mike designed for them.
How much do you charge for that?
Colorado. Well, it costed a lot more in the old days than it would if he did the AI one.
Yes, I should have charged. I never did. It's made a lot of money for a lot of people except for me.
No, that's not fair.
Well, actually, the price of water after all the reforms went through in Australia went up fourfold in 10 years.
The value of water.
Yeah. So the value of water went up incredibly. If you have an old, broken down car that doesn't work,
I know the feeling.
And if you fix it up, it's worth a lot more money.
Yes.
So if you fix anything up, it's worth more.
Yeah, that makes sense. Andrina Clisby, famous name. I don't know whether you expected or what you expected to happen around this dining room table when you agreed to come in and chat with us.
I know.
Is it a bit surprising?
A little bit, yes. I was expecting more of an office atmosphere, but this is delightful.
Well, it's kind of, different, eccentric.
Yes.
And you're the sporting car club and I must admit, I've got a letter at home from you lovely people.
Wonderful.
And you apparently the club is coming up to the garage to have a look at some of the cars. June or July.
Oh, really? I wasn't aware of that.
I've got to find the letter.
Oh, the letter. Oh, from the Sporting Car Club, yes.
Yes, from the Sporting Car Club. Yeah, you don't use AI.
No, I don't use AI. However, I'm currently writing a book about my father, Harold Clisby, and I might need to use it for that.
Now, tell me about him, because he was a remarkable man, wasn't he?
Yes, he was a remarkable man. He's known for his air compressors. He started manufacturing them in 1946 after the war, and there were hundreds of manufacturers around, but he ended up being the last one because his air compressors were so reliable. He ended up selling them all over the world. So he did that for quite a long time, and he ended up selling that company in 1988. He also built a Formula One racing engine, and that was around the time where Jack Brabham was racing.
Yep.
Jack Brabham apparently at the time was losing the Formula One.
Yeah.
And he desperately needed help. So my father stepped in and rebuilt his cylinder heads, and he went on to win the 1966 Formula One.
So he was an engineer.
He was a master engineer, yes. He studied in the School of Mines in Adelaide. He only went to the grade 7, and then he decided to leave and run his father's business, which was going downhill. His father used to manufacture all the uniforms for the football teams and schools in Adelaide and in the army.
So why didn't he stay at school? Did he go to university?
He hated school.
No, I hated school too.
No, he didn't go to university, no. He left at grade 7 and he just went into business straight away.
It's grade 7. Golly, that would be... He was what would that be, 14 years old or something?
Yes, he was very young. He built his first car at the age of 16.
My God.
So he was very good at engineering.
I've seen pictures of Gary, what is it? It's a racing car. That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
It's a Formula One car.
And he built that by hand, absolutely everything, the engine and everything.
No, just the engine. The chassis is an Elfin Mono, and that's in Melbourne at the moment. But the engine currently sits at the Sporting Car Club in a beautiful case for everyone to view, and that will probably live there forever.
Yeah.
We decided. So,
what would he make of electric cars, do you think?
He didn't like electric cars, but he was trying to push for hydrogen cars back in the day.
Oh.
But it proved unsuccessful. He entered the solar car race, but he was the only one that entered a hydrogen solar car. But it didn't prove successful at all.
Professor, is there any future in hydrogen?
Yes, if they can work out how to make it a bit more cheaply, and they're getting closer to working it out. Everybody who thought it was going to be really exciting thought they would get the cost of it down faster than they have. They've got cost down a little bit, but there's some thresholds they haven't been able to get through.
Yeah.
There's some really interesting work going on that comes out of actually Adelaide and also Japan, where they can make it using solar, and they just trickle water over these panels, and that converts sunlight straight through into hydrogen without any moving parts. If they can make that work at scale, then the whole world changes. But they haven't yet done it. But the early work, which is very different to the idea of using electricity, sticking some electrodes into water, and actually making oxygen and hydrogen separately, that's proving to be very difficult to get the costs down.
Would you guys buy an electric car?
I would at the moment because of the price of diesel.
Yeah, I know, but it's a bit of a fool's paradise because what you do when you need to sell it or trade it in, it's not going to be a good proposition.
Well, we nearly had them all electric and hydrogen. There was a very serious talk back in the 1890s going down that pathway. And what happened is the cost of making engines and cylinders collapsed and became very competitive. So we went actually on the path that we've been on for around the last 100 years, using petrol and diesel.
I've seen pictures of an electric car running around New York City in 1904.
36% of cars in Boston and New York at the time were electric.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the second go they've had at popularising, and I have no doubt subsidising heavily the popular purchase of electric cars.
Yeah. So it's actually back to the future. But, way back in the good old days, they were line ball. It was a race to see who would win.
So is that another way of saying the one thing we learn from history is that we learn nothing from history?
That's about it, yes.
It's all circular.
It's all circular.
And shocks like we're having now, talking of AI, I looked up stagflation, which I shouldn't have done because of the economics.
Yeah.
And personally, I should have known what it is, but I looked it up on.
You keep on dropping out.
Sorry, I need to be closer to the
I
microphone.
don't know what's wrong with the microphone. I think if you're not loud enough, it ducks you or something.
Sorry.
No. It's got a mind of its own.
Yeah, so you can look up things, but actually the oil shock we're having at the moment, the oil price shock, is something that happened back in the 70s, in 1973, I think it really was.
I remember that well.
And it threw all the economic models out. They didn't work because they all assume things like this don't happen at scale.
Yes.
And when you get massive shocks, nothing works.
Caroline, what are you saying?
It's not ducking out in there.
It's not ducking out. Oh, maybe my headphones or something. Yeah, maybe there. Not to worry.
That's a long way from cars, but I don't know how we got there. But
in this program, we go in strange directions and quite unpredictably. Tell me about your dad's amazing house where he had the telescope that he made himself. Tell me that story.
Oh, he built his house in 1952.
This was a handmade stone house that he built himself.
Yes, he bought the property from R.M. Williams, who owned all the whole area. At the time, R.M. Williams was first making his boots.
The Reginald.
Yes, he was a very close friend of my father's.
Oh.
And he was making boots on a little shed on the property that my father built the house on. Now, at the time, my father was manufacturing heavily and he had a lot of shavings, brass shavings. So he approached R.M. Williams and said, I would like to buy a property off you. So he said, pick anyone you want in Adelaide Hills. So he picked the one he wanted, which had the best views and a large block of land, about 4.5 acres.
Wow. Yeah.
And he said, how much do you want? He said, £500 and a 44-gallon drum of brass shavings will do. So
what year was this?
This was about 1954, I think it was.
Wow.
Yes. And I've still got the receipt from R.M. Williams. So I actually went to visit R.M. Williams when I was a child in Queensland.
He was a very nice man.
He was a lovely man.
I met him. Yeah.
And he was heavily into horses, and he let me ride one of his horses. Yeah. And then I found out after I got off the horse that it had never been ridden before. So I broke a horse in.
And what was the brass for? I'm fascinated. Why do you use brass shavings?
Rivets of the boots, of his boots.
Ah, right.
Yeah. Really? Yes. So that's how we got to know. And of course, it was at Percy Street in Prospect, where my father was just up the road, number 74.
Because that's where the museum is.
Yes.
5 Percy Street, Prospect.
Andrina, tell us about your father's penchant for building toy trains.
Yes.
When I say toy, they certainly weren't toys.
They weren't toys.
They were just amazing scale models.
They were 7.25-inch gauge scale models. He travelled to America many times because he was obsessed with locomotives. He was obsessed with steam, actually, and he built his own locomotives to scale. He did everything, the boilers, everything. And he had to build it to 7.25-inch gauge because that's where the Los Angeles live steamers track was, where New York was 7.5 inch gauge. So there was a difference. But Australia was 7.25 inch gauge, so he stuck to that. So he built a track around his property in the hills, about 1 kilometre long. He built it all by hand.
What a remarkable man.
Yes.
So he had...
complete with trestle bridges.
And tunnels.
I mean, Tony's got a train set. But not as big as that.
Same scale.
And underneath the house, he stored them.
Yes, in his catacombs.
I had a ride in there one day on one of the trains underneath the house, and he had all these little trains lined up. Totally amazing house.
How many kids did he have?
He had 3. I'm the middle child.
And what did you all grow up making of him?
Oh, I didn't grow up with dolls. I grew up with Meccano sets. I became, and I learned engineering from my father. When in the 1990s, my father built a little miniature lathe called the Clisby lathe.
Yeah.
And when I came back from Japan after working over there for a year, English teaching, I took over the business and manufactured them all myself. I started from scratch.
So it's in your blood.
Yes, it's in my blood. So I learnt a lot of engineering through my father back then, and I still like to use the lathe and the milling machine on the odd occasion if I need to make something.
Yes.
I made a part for my Ferrari once.
Right. What sort of Ferrari have you got?
It was a Ferrari 308 GDS.
A 308.
And it lost a part when a friend was looking at it. So I had to make it, and it fit and worked. A little jet. It was a little jet.
I'll tell you what, you're quite a woman. Considering what that part would have cost if you'd gone down to who.
Absolutely. Well, it could have been cheap in China, but back then they didn't make
quite
parts.
Apart from that, Jeremy, this woman is amazing at building costumes.
Designing, yes.
But we'll get to costumes in a minute.
We'll get to that in a moment.
You like driving the Ferrari?
Oh, not really. It was like driving a tractor.
Her dog clutched
It was just the first gear. Reverse was in first, so you'd make that.
Yeah.
That was terrible. It's nothing like the car I drive today, Jaguar XK8. That's a beautiful car.
Yes. It's very civilised. I've got a 430, and I'm scared of it.
Launch mode.
I'm really scared of it because you blink and you're up a tree.
Fancy car, that one.
Oh, but dangerous car.
Have you ever raced it at all?
No. It's got 1,800 Ks on the clock.
Oh, nothing.
No.
Where did you get that one, Jeremy?
When?
Where?
In Adelaide. It was a strange story because I sort of wanted to get a California, and I went into Prestige Motors, I think it was on Glen Osmond Road, where. Xenia or whatever their name is these days live, and I said, what does it look like, the California? And they have these screens and they show you on a screen exactly what the car looks like, and trying to think of the bloke's name, very nice fellow, Italian, quite famous. Anyway, it'll come to me. And he said, listen, you buy that, you got to pay a deposit, and then it'll be 2 years before they deliver the car. Why don't you look at this one? That was a red 430. And he said, the guy who ordered this, his vineyard, he was a wine grower maker, the vineyard has gone bankrupt and he can't complete the sale, so he's lost his deposit. But the car's for sale and it doesn't have any stamp duty to pay. It's second-hand. Technically, it's second-hand. So there's, there are a lot of financial advantages. And you can take it today. And I walked around it and looked at it, and I bought it. And some 2 years later, I get a call from Corradini, that's his name.
Bob Corradini.
Bob
Corradini.
Bob and Frank, I thought it might have been.
Yes.
Yeah.
I get a call from Prestige Motors and they say, oh, your car's here. No, it's not. It's in the garage. No. I mean the one you ordered.
Whoops.
I said, what did I order? California. In thinking about it, how would you order it if you hadn't paid a deposit?
Or signed anything?
Did you sign anything?
Not that I remember.
It
was very early in the day, so I hadn't had anything to drink.
They were hopeful.
Did you collect it?
But that was in the good old days.
Well, in the end, I took it
I was going to
as
say,
well.
why not?
Why
That's
not?
off.
It was
Why
probably
not?
worth a lot more by the time you'd actually got it for the price you'd agreed to pay for it.
Yeah, but the Ferraris are interesting in that, the California is cruisy. It's more like a Mercedes or a Jaguar.
Yes.
It's nice to drive.
Yes.
It's pleasant. But the aggressiveness of the 430 just literally scares me. I'm not one who could tear around a circuit and do that sort of thing, either for pleasure or for a living. But
Which one do you prefer?
Oh, the California.
I think so too, yes.
Yes, it's a very nice sedate. Well, when I say sedate, it does have a launch button, which I have never pressed. I'd be scared to do that. Do you have a launch button?
No. I've got sports mode on my car, that's it.
Sports mode.
I'd rather have a lunch button.
A lunch button.
But actually, new electric cars also have launch mode now.
And they're incredibly fast off the mark.
Yeah, but they're heavy. And they wear their tyres out because they're heavy.
Yeah.
So I don't like them myself.
No, I don't know. I'm sure they're
Hi, if you record your name and reason for calling, I'll
Oh,
see if this person
this is
available.
interesting. Hello, is the professor there? Jeremy Cordeaux calling. We've got an appointment to have a chat with him this morning. Hi, are you there?
I am.
And that's not
Jeremy.
AI.
No, it's not AI.
I just thought I have to ask. No, it's great.
Yes.
It's great to talk to you. Let me introduce you to everybody. Professor Rocky Scapoletti. Now, I hope I'm pronouncing that properly.
Look, it's close enough. With a name like Scapoletti, you've got to have a lot of give and take.
Well, with a name like Cordeaux, I know exactly what you mean. It's very difficult.
Fantastic.
Well, I've got Christine Esau here, and Professor Mike Young, and Drina Clisby, and we're talking about just about everything and anything. I wanted to have a chat to you about the future, because you're a futurologist. A futurologist.
A futurologist.
How did you get to be a futurologist?
Well, I guess you begin by discovering a passion for research, and I think having an unquenchable thirst for curiosity, I think, kind of takes you there as well. And I've been privileged, I guess, to have spent my whole working life, executive life, researching and studying the impact of emerging technologies.
Mm-hmm.
And in many respects, I think where my research has really differed is that I've combined emerging technological impact together with demographic change, particularly associated with youth. And so the two kind of, make my research, I would say, somewhat different.
So who comes along and, I'm trying to think of a way to ask this question. How do you make a quid out of being a futurologist? Who comes along and says, I need to know something? You don't have a crystal ball.
Yeah. So essentially, organisations, boards, leadership teams come to me and invite me to either speak to their board at a strategy offsite or at a executive management meeting that they might have. So I do lots of keynote speaking and talking about trends and the impact that these may have on various areas that they could be interested in, whether it's their customers, whether it's the workplace. And then secondly, I'm a best-selling author, and so I try and spend as much time as I can reflecting my research insights through publications and books. And I also do quite a lot of advisory work. Organisations are looking for, I guess, leaders to help them understand the impact on their strategy of a lot of these emerging technologies. So there's a variety of different ways that I guess futurologists make a quid. Those just happen to be, happen to be mine.
Well, can you think of a better time in which to be alive? I mean, I don't know whether...
Absolutely.
I mean, is AI the problem or threat or opportunity or really scary thing out there that some people think it is?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Thanks for that, Jeremy. So the question I've been pursuing in terms of my research and insights has really, over the last 20 years, has really focused on this single question, which is how do we increase our capacity to adapt to a world in accelerated change? And there's never been a more important point in time right now for us to be staring into that question because of the implications of AI. And so what I would do is my research kind of brings things back a little to look at that question because it's your ability to adapt to what comes at you in an increasingly uncertain world at velocity that we've never experienced before comes down to how you or your organisations adapt to that. And, AI has come at, the world more ferociously than anything that we've experienced before in the past. And so that's the secret here. I think it's being able to adapt to what's coming at you, because this is only the beginning, right? We've got quantum computing, we've got a whole range of technologies on the near horizon, and they'll have exactly the same effect, if not greater.
Professor Young's got a question for you.
Yeah, Rocky, I worry a lot about the world changing as it starts to shrink. And we're already finding lots of places around the world where the population replacement rate is about 1.4 now per woman. And lots of countries are just starting to peak their population and then start going down quite quickly. How do you think through that? What are your thoughts about how we should prepare for it?
Yeah, I wrote a white paper on this. In fact, it's a fantastic question. And I also participated in a SBS program called, on their Insights program, called The Baby Drought. And so this is what I refer to as Australia's ticking time bomb. And it's a ticking time bomb because of the widening gap between our ageing population at one end of the spectrum and our youth populations at the bottom end of the spectrum. And so this is very difficult territory for any government to traverse, simply because, who is going to pay for an ageing population that right now the country cannot afford? And this is happening worldwide. And we see some really, really wonderful initiatives, I think, unfolding around here. Countries like Hungary and recently Poland introduced some wonderful, programs, such as if you have two or more babies, you don't pay personal tax ever.
Well, if you have those two babies and they're kids that are like mine, you'll never have your hand out of your pocket anyway.
It's a different sort of taxation.
Yeah. Well, when you think about it, we threw over the fence a once-off baby bonus, some 20 years ago, and that failed. Yes, you did see a very small short-term blimp, but here we are at our lowest levels of birth rates ever. And so that's why I think these policies that other countries are putting in place are bringing things back, bringing the economics back to encourage families to have children. We're caught in this kind of nexus where we've got our second generation of youth coming through that are stuffed with, with university debt, And the impact of those has been the delay of a lot of these lifestyle choices, such as marriage, family, and then you've got the housing problem over the top of that. And so this is a real problem. It's a very important question that you've asked. There is no silver bullet. It's a range of different things that have to come together, and technology will be one of those things. We cannot afford a health system today with today's population, let alone what it's going to be like in 10 or 15 years' time.
Are there any?
When it's a shrinking population, then it's a very interesting change that happens. The housing crisis swaps to a housing surplus crisis, and we have to rethink everything totally. And
are we good at rethinking things fast enough?
I think Australia's lucky that we are a very adaptive country. We're one of the most responsive in the world, and we don't freeze and protect. And so that stands out. But what we have been doing as a nation really is cheating. We've been increasing our population, which means all the superannuation returns are good. It's fairly easy to run the economy growing at 3 or 4% per year.
Yeah.
When you stop bringing people into the country, and when you then see your population shrinking, then everything becomes really, really difficult. Perhaps we make a film about this or something else.
And if you don't have petrol and fuel and diesel and jet fuel, you can't get anything to the supermarkets, and you can't make fertilizer, and things don't grow. And Rocky, what are we going to do?
Well, we have to look to technology to solve a lot of the problems that today's systems simply cannot do. I'll give you some examples. If we look at healthcare, today we still have a large part of our system relies on, physical treatment within or monitoring within a hospital environment. Well, we simply can't afford to just keep building more and more hospitals. But the role of technology in terms of remote monitoring, being in hospital is not something I'm sure most people really enjoy, but to be cared for, knowing that the quality of care is as good as what it is if you were being monitored in a hospital in your own home, I think makes perfect sense. And so that's that I think also places or redistributes a lot of the issues associated with the shortage of healthcare workers that we have today. Australia today has a shortfall of healthcare workers in the order of 250,000, right? And so being able to be monitored remotely is going to reduce the stress required on the system to have people, nurses and doctors and the like, physically working in a hospital environment. Even if we look at sustainability, if we look at the environment, technology is playing a very, very significant role in how we kind of deal with that, that issue as well. So there's a lot of areas that I think technology can play a very significant role in helping us address. But ultimately, I think if we come back to that question around, an aging demographic, and a declining birth rate, those are often social issues, and so technology can't solve those issues, but good policy can.
I like to look at the future and backcast, which is jargon for working, imagining a future, taking about 10 or so really big parameters you want to have in place, and then try and work backwards what you've got to do to achieve that. And I've done that with things like actually climate change, for example, and water supplies. And you start with what you've got there and you say, okay, this is our future we want. Can we get there? And know, and then you go and you imagine the future again, and then you go back, working backwards to see if you can identify what you need to do now so you have hope of getting there.
What happens if you just ask AI what is in the future?
It'll give you an answer.
It would give you an answer, wouldn't it?
But going forward is pretty worrying. I think often it's more creative than that. We've been actually watching lots of French films lately. In the actually French Film Festival.
How long have you been married?
How long? It depends what you call me. Chrissy will have an answer to this officially. How many years is it now, darling?
Rocky, they're still in love. It's just
I think
wonderful.
4 years we've been married officially with a bit of paper, but mentally we've
been together 15 years.
15 years, yes. So we've been living together as a couple, officially married.
Rocky, do you think marriage has a future?
Careful.
Careful.
I'm probably not the best one to ask on that.
Yes, I know the feeling. And Rena, are you worried about the future at all?
The future? Oh, yeah, definitely.
What aspect are you worried about?
AI to a certain degree.
AI?
Yes, because it's taking over a lot of jobs and even identities of people in social media and things like that. But it is very useful, like as you say. The future, I think population is another big problem.
Yep.
Well, and our immigration, we're letting too many people in for what we've got. We're the driest state and the driest continent in the world, and we don't have enough water. So what does that tell you?
Professor, do we have enough water?
Yes, we have more than enough water.
But it's in the wrong places.
Really it's in all the right places. You just have to move people to where the water is.
Okay, I'm all for that.
But there is no city that's seriously short of water.
Okay.
Australia feeds at the moment about 5 times its population. So if you look at our irrigation industry and why we have it, we have it to make money. We export food to the rest of the world so we can have holidays, we can buy computers, we can buy cars and all those things.
We can support...
We are not short of water.
No, well,
We're
we can
short
support...
of water to make money with.
We grow enough food to feed 75 million people, I'm told.
On average. Yeah. And often it's over 100 million and even more.
Good
and
God.
that's feed them well. It's not struggle through.
Professor Rocky, this is a cable from California. It's headed up, Robot Goes Berserk in Californian Restaurant. Dragged away by staff after smashing tableware. A video on social media shows a dancing robot knocking over the tableware, smashing plates and sending chopsticks and customers flying. But there are clear growing pains when it comes to sharing spaces with our new automation friends. Just this month, a video circulated online showing a robot being escorted away by the police after startling an old lady.
This is like cars, really. We used to have a flag walking in front of the car, you might remember.
Right.
It's just all learning how to make these things safe and make them work.
How are we going to keep the robots under control?
Well, it's an interesting case, that one, because you don't need robots in the US to see some nutter jumping up and down on a table and doing something else. I think humans are outpacing the robots in that regard, or maybe the robots have learned from humans. I think this comes back to the earlier comment there, which I completely support about. Around concerns around AI. So I'm deeply concerned that we don't have adequate guardrails in place, and we don't have adequate supervision of how we are developing this technology, understanding the impact and the possible consequences that come from that. Recently, I wrote a book called Synthetic Souls, looking at the implications of technology that eventually could become conscious. And so I looked at this quite carefully and with great concern, because it's if you think about, I'll give you a science analogy. When we go to our doctor, we feel confident that our doctor is skilled, equipped, to diagnose and has the right equipment to diagnose our illness. He or she may then refer us to, write a script to refer us to a chemist, and we trust that the chemist has the adequate skills, qualifications to dispense adequate medications to us. We go home, we take those medications, and we hopefully get better. So there's a lot of trust in that, in the way we kind of look at that. Now, what's behind all of that? Science. Hundreds and hundreds of years of science. But what we're now staring at is a technology that, has essentially been thrown over the fence with a, well, let's see what happens kind of approach. It's a bit like sort of saying, open up your garage, roll in all of these chemicals, start producing pills and throw them over the fence and see what happens, right? Mm-hmm. We would not accept that. And so why are we seem to be accepting shortfalls in applying scientific methods and approaches to how we develop things, that do have a profound impact across society? Jobs that was mentioned before, the whole notion of trust. Well, we really need to rethink that, because we're changing from a model of, who do we trust to what do we trust? Because a lot of the technological advancements with AI now, particularly in video, are indistinguishable from the human eye in terms of reality.
Do you think democracy has a future? Why couldn't we have a great big AI thing that did everything for us? And it was benign, it was beneficent, it was kind, understanding, forgiving, generous. Could we program that into a piece of AI? I don't know.
I hope not.
Well, when AI starts programming itself, I think that's when humanity is going to have a problem. Here's a situation. At the moment, our development methods are based on what we can understand, whether it's scientific methods, whether it's mathematical equations, physics, all of those things, language, right? We understand all of these things. But what if the technology started developing its own language that we just simply couldn't understand, comprehend? And what if, it started collaborating with other models to do the same?
Yeah.
What happens then? We don't even know what's going on.
They're going to cut us out of the equation. Oh, God.
So,
do you sleep well at night, Professor?
Look, I do.
So you don't worry about the future?
No, absolutely. I have complete faith in humanity. So I'm not concerned at all existentially. I get concerned that our leaders today are not stepping up to apply methods of controls that have served humanity well in the past, and we sort of seem to be relaxing that when we look at our future. That's what concerns me.
Professor, wonderful to talk to you, and I hope we can do it again. Thank you for your time, your generous allocation of time. Very grateful.
Pleasure. Great talking to you guys.
Thank you very much, Professor Rocky Scapelliti, Scapalliti. Wonderful name. Yeah.
It all sounds like doom and gloom, though, to me a bit.
No.
I'm quite glad I live now. I don't have to worry too much about the implications of what AI might look like in 20 years' time. I won't be working then. And I won't be worrying quite so much. I worry for my children, though. I just think their lives are so very different.
I want my children to worry about me. I've done enough worrying. That's it.
Lots of luck, Jeremy.
That's it.
Yeah, that's right.
it.
That's right.
Take us to the French movies.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's a better idea, isn't it? And in fact, that's why your name is Cordeaux and not Cordeaux.
No, it's yes.
French
Je m'appelle Jeremy Cordeaux.
That's right. And it's about the French cultural exchange with Australia that we have this highly successful French festival that has been happening for 37 years around the country. Last year, 199,000 tickets were sold.
Wow.
So it's not a small thing anymore. It's
What sort of
huge.
movies? A Man and a Woman?
Well, A Man and a Woman. I saw that last weekend. It was wonderful.
Bonjour Tristesse?
Look, do you know, A Man and a Woman was fantastic. It was going back in time, and you're sporting cars, beautiful little car in that is really one of the highlights, and they run it around the beach and play it a little bit like one of those cars that drifts in the sand. So it's a bit like a drift car that you see at some of the sporting events around Australia. That was wonderful. This weekend I'm going off to see The Richest Woman in the World, which I'm really looking forward to it. The Paris Job, another one which I think is a must-see because it's based on the 2010 MoMA burglary, where they've still not solved it. They've never found the Picassos or the Modiglianis or any of the artwork that was stolen.
I don't want you to look in the hall on your way out, though.
Well, it could be there.
Yeah.
And that film is apparently about, and I'm looking forward to it this weekend, about what might have happened. And, of course, that sort of has current repercussions.
It's an inside job.
Well, yeah, but you see, last year I was, and I'm terrified I'm going to get arrested, I took my granddaughter to the Louvre, and I've got a photo right up to the nose looking at all the jewellery that was stolen. And if the cameras point down, there's that woman again taking another photograph right up against the glass. And I was, because I wanted a perfect photograph of the now stolen earrings.
That's a lovely necklace.
The now stolen tiara.
That's a lovely necklace you're wearing.
Correct. and I mean, they didn't solve that. And I was in Paris 3 days later when it was stolen. And I'm sitting there thinking, looking at my photos saying, I've got photos of all this stuff. I was right there. So I'm wondering when the cameras roll back and say, that woman from Australia and her granddaughter, I think they were behind it. They were the ones that got the photo.
And there she is, hiding it in plain sight.
But the French Film Festival is fantastic in all that way because it just imagines so much and you can go along and watch whatever you like.
When's it on?
For another 3 weeks. You can see it at the Palace Nova in Prospect, near Percy Street in the city, and down at Victor Harbour there. So they're sending it down to Victor Harbour as well. We're going to see Jean Valjean, which is a film about the real character that inspired Les Miserables. Seeing that this weekend as well. We're also going across to see, what else are we seeing? I think we're seeing 4 films over the weekend.
Did they run Monsieur Hulot's Holiday?
No, not this year. They've done some of those before.
Very funny. I mean, Jacques Tati.
Very
funny
he had a whole
man.
series of those, and they were silent movies. You know,
Hulot. I think that was the only line.
Mon Oncle.
Mon Oncle. Yes.
So
it was the only line in the movie, and he used to smoke a pipe.
Yeah.
And he drove, Gary, what's that little Citroën, the little Duchevaux. And
5CV.
The pipe never left his mouth, and he somebody
drove through the country.
Yeah, and somebody took the pipe out. Always wore a hat. Somebody took the pipe, and he just said "Hulot," and put the pipe back in. Hulot. That's all he ever said his name. That was the only line in the movie. But it was very clever.
More cars like that. They're very simple. I can remember the old Marxson and things like that. Basic, simple cars. They don't make them anymore.
That's why I keep hold of my old Merc. I mean, I've got a new Merc, which I love, and it looks fabulous, and my daughter thinks it's wonderful, convertible. But I love my old one, which is 20 years old. I'm wondering whether it will be old enough to keep in your garage.
Well, you see, the funny thing about Mercedes and a lot of these really nice cars, and Drina might agree or disagree, is their longevity. You buy them because they will last you forever.
20 years or more.
And the one thing, well, you know, there were some up there in the garage that are 50 years old. But a lot of people just will buy a nice car that will last a lifetime and trade it in 3 years' time.
Crazy.
You're paying for the longevity and you're not getting to use it. What do you think?
I love my old car.
Yeah?
I love it. I call her Precious. I mean, she has a name. All my cars get names.
What colour?
It's called champagne.
Oh, yes.
And cream upholstery, and my new one's white with champagne upholstery. I like cars.
And what colour is your Ferrari?
Oh, I haven't got it anymore. But it was red.
Yes, the red ones go faster, don't they? I'm
You
told.
think?
I don't know. I don't have a lot of experience behind the wheel.
As long as I can get around the Britannia roundabout, I'm happy. You need a really
Don't
fast
go
car to
there.
manage that.
Yeah, don't go there. I mean, I'd go out of your way to avoid the Britannia roundabout.
I think you do that when you accept old age. I haven't accepted that yet.
And really, you were a nanny.
Oh, in England, yes.
Yes.
Oh, that was a very brief part of my life. I was a nanny for 2 weeks, and it was like a test for me to see whether I wanted children or not. And I never had them.
No.
Not after that job.
No.
Learned to listen, did you?
Yeah, apparently they'd been through a lot of nannies.
Mary Poppins, you are not.
They were just they weren't a very nice family, not very nice.
The Trapp family wasn't your cup of tea.
No, not really.
This is quite a CV of yours.
Oh.
Events and projects and God knows what. And now you've settled down at the Sporting Car Club of South Australia.
In the library, I've taken
Peace and
that-
quiet?
Yes. So I'm the librarian.
Wow.
And I have 8 gentlemen under me.
Well, that could be an experience.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Did you get to pick
Not
them?
all at the same time, I hope.
They take in turns, or how's it work?
How does it work?
No, I just pretend they're all my husbands, that's all.
Well, it's a nice thing because you can leave them. You don't have to take them home.
Yes.
Oh, we've done full roundabout. We're back to that issue again.
Well,
I'd rather be talking about the French Film Festival.
well, look, the French Film Festival will lead you into that kind of dilemma. I'm sure.
Absolutely not. Absolument.
It helps you think outside the square, and that's really what.
Yeah, and I think that's true. I think that's why we go along to so many films, don't we? We just love it. It's really good theatre and cinema, and I think that's what the French do so well. It's why it's been so successful for so many years, really.
Yeah. There was a theatre in Sydney, cinema in Bligh Street called the Savoy, and they, way back, I don't know, probably.
I think that's where I saw A Man and a Woman.
Yes,
so
that's
many
true.
years ago in 1960. I went up when
I saw
was
it
quite
there
small,
too. Yeah.
And
Francis Lay did the music.
Yes, that's right, and ahead of its time.
Tony, we've probably got Francis Lay and A Man and a Woman.
The music's divine.
I'll bet
and in
we
fact,
have.
there are a couple of other songs in that film which I hadn't remembered. I mean, I remembered the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's right, which plays throughout as a theme.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of other songs that were beautiful, and the words in those were so stunning. I listened to it last weekend, but as a child, it all went above me, and I went with my mother. And I think that ahead of its time, you could get a glass of wine and go into the Savoy.
Yes. It's a funny little theatre.
Yeah.
And 2UE was either beside it or above it. I can't really remember, but it was a entertainment hub in its day. And 2GB, where I was just around the corner in Phillip Street. Have you come in to tell us to wind up the show?
I was doing that before, but you...
Well, this
Caroline, who must be obeyed. What do you have here? Breaking. This is breaking news. Breaking news. Anthony Albanese hits back after Donald Trump's attack on Australia as he provides update on national fuel supply.
Nations.
Oh, nations fuel supply. Right. Read more. But we don't have any time because we're out of time. The US President criticised allied countries for not providing assistance in the conflict as the closure of the Strait of Hormuz continues to put pressure on global oil prices.
We didn't ask for the war.
No, we didn't, did we? And I don't think he rang up.
He didn't ask us before whether we wanted to do it.
No.
So he made that decision
A bit of a
entirely
heads
on
up.
his own. That's right, in the early discussions, and I think that's how Europe and England feels too. So that's why they're complaining.
Did you see the bit in the Oval Office where he had the Japanese... You've been in Japan too.
Yes.
The Japanese Prime Minister, and somebody asked him about, why didn't he tell people that he was going to invade Iran? And he said, well, there's Japanese here. They know a thing or two about surprises. Did they tell us about Pearl Harbor?
Well, an interesting AI question, which I did out of interest. I asked the question, could Australia send the ships and what were the names of them?
Oh, yes.
And which ones are not in dry dock or something, and which ones are ready to fight the new drones
and there's
that are
one.
available. There
And
is
there's
one,
one.
possibly, but
Possibly.
it doesn't have the latest drone technology.
No.
So for us to go and expect the ship to come back
it's a
rather
joke.
than send it to its graveyard and bury it there.
It's a joke, and it's so
couldn't really
embarrassing.
do it. Yeah.
It'd be like being asked to go to a fashionable party
I
and
quite like
have nothing to wear. And the best thing is to say, I can't make it.
I quite like the idea of being a little Switzerland over here and just stepping back a bit.
Well, Uzbekistan, I don't exactly know where Uzbekistan is, but it's a landlocked country, I believe, and they have a navy of 14 ships, and we have one. It's hardly a navy.
There's only one that we could send at the moment. But it would be a one-way trip.
And we can't get submariners to crew the submarines. People don't want to get into that little cylinder and go down there. They just don't want to join up for that.
Well, the other thing is, of course, it comes back to France. I mean, we had a deal with France and we let go of it.
You have a one-track mind.
And as no, I'm a francophile. But I mean, as Macron said, we tore that deal up. So we might.
I don't think I know.
I don't think I know.
Yeah.
That's right. That was a fabulous line. Still used widely.
Best line.
Well, I think we better stop doing deals, all sorts of deals, and then getting out of them or trying to get out of them. You know, the stupid government in Victoria signed up for the Commonwealth Games and then backed out of it. And our penalty was, I think, 800 million, which was the actual cost for Glasgow to put them on. So we are paying for the Scottish.
Yes, but I think there's a very good chance we'll get the next one as a consequence. So I think the money we invested might just paying it forward because I think that we were looked upon as doing the right thing, and I think we may well just inherit it for the next games.
I don't know that all of these cake and circus things are worth all that money. God, it's popular. I know that. It's popular.
Puts us on the map.
Yeah.
Keeps us on the map. Puts us on the map, keeps us on the map. If we want to be an international trader and an international player, we need to do it. We need to
It's all right, Caroline, I'm winding up.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying it's looking good that we're going to inherit the Avalon Air Show.
Is that looking
Oh.
on the agenda, is it?
Yes, oh well.
Right.
Listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in. How do people join the Sporting Car Club? Do you look for members, or are you just happy with the group you've got at the moment?
Well, we're looking for members because we want to reach the number of 2,000. We're just over 1,900 now. So we are looking for members. You can check out our website at sportingcarclub.com.au.
It's a lovely building. It used to be a restaurant,
Beautiful.
from memory.
And a nightclub, yes. And a jewellery
And a
shop.
nightclub, yes. Yeah,
It's got all these catacombs underground with a big safe door.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting place. It's huge. And there's a lot of clubs that actually go there to use the club rooms as their club rooms.
And the parking is good.
Yes, it's very good. Little car park.
Yep.
Beautiful gardens. We have a crew looking after the place every Tuesdays. And I'm there every Wednesdays looking after the library, and I'm absolutely loving it.
How big is the library?
It's probably twice the size of this room, square metres, I'm not sure. But
lots of books.
Quite a large number of books there.
And the address is?
It's 51 King William Street at Unley.
It's a nice address. It's a beautiful building. I belong to the MG Car Club, and we've got a very humble little clubhouse.
Oh, yes.
at Bowden. But it does the job. It does the job. And the reason people belong to car clubs, it's a very good thing, because if you get an old car, a classic car, or a vintage car, or a veteran car, and you put it on club registration, you're paying $70 a year for your registration, as opposed to $700 or $1,000 a year.
Yes.
I think it has to be 30 years old, is that right?
25.
25.
25, oh, 5 in my day.
25. 25. That's 25 years just goes like that. Yeah. Anyway.
Yes, and you have to be in a club to get the historic.
Yes.
So a lot of members are in the club for that reason.
Yeah. Well, I am.
But we do
yes.
feel like a big family as well. It's a wonderful feeling.
And we have probably the best fleet of collectible cars in Australia. I don't know whether it's the fact that it's fairly flat, the climate is good, or maybe we are, as a population, just very tasteful, sensible.
Yes, I've heard about your collection.
Yeah. Well, you guys are coming up to see it.
I would love to see it.
I've got to find that letter.
Well, the letter to invite you as guest speaker for our board.
Oh, that's why. Was that what it was?
Yes, it was. We were just wondering if you would be like to do that for the club. Sure. And even possibly, if you want to, you could bring one of your cars and just talk about your car. That's all you need to do.
Yep, that sounds easy, Professor.
Very easy.
That sounds like a walk in the park.
That's wonderful.
No, well, thank you, Andrina, for coming in.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And my best to the Sporting Car Club of South Australia.
Yes, thank you very much.
Gary, thank you.
I think that's a yes, he's coming.
I'm very pleased, thank you.
Tony, thank you. Professor, good to see you. Christine, onward and upward with the French movies.
Oh, yes. It's only for 2 more weeks.
Well, are they running the same movies over and over again, or different movies?
There are 37 films.
Oh, well, that's enough in
times.
rotation.
So you can see them in the nighttime, daytime, weekends, whatever.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Oh, well, that'll be lovely. Thanks for coming in.
Merci beaucoup.
And being part of the court of public opinion. Aye.
Always a pleasure.
Beautiful noise coming up from the street. Got a beautiful sound. It's got a beautiful beat. It's a beautiful noise going on everywhere, like the clickety-clack of a train on a track. It's got rhythm to spare. It's a beautiful noise, and it's a sound that I love.
We'll be back not next Friday, but the Friday after that, ladies and gentlemen. I've just got to tell you, our sponsors as of today, the wonderful people who were with us really from the very beginning, going back to, what was the date, Tony?
I've got a copy of that one, yes.
What was it? Yeah. In the garage, yeah. The good old Rossdale Homes.
To do that.
Rossdale Homes, ladies and gentlemen. Now, whether you're building your first, your second, or your third home, or a seasoned property developer who knows all the ropes, all the tricks of the trade, no one likes extra scary costs. And they're not extra scary, you understand. They are costs because of the extras. Oh, we didn't tell you about that. Oh, really? Well, that won't happen to you with Rossdale Homes. We get all of that. They pride themselves on absolute fixed price guarantees for everyone who comes along and has a look. And by the way, speaking of looking, if you would like to see an example of their work on Portrush Road, gee whiz, I think it would be, Gary, what's the side street there? No, it's not Conningham. No. Yeah. Yep.
Seymour College
Seymour and
down a bit.
Abergildy.
Yeah, they've got something like 7 display homes there for you to have a look at. They believe that trust is a must, and with the guarantee fixed price contracts, you will never get any nasty surprises. For peace of mind, trust Rossdale, where only you can change the price. Sorry? Bevington. Corner Portrush and Bevington is what it is. rossdalehomes.com.au. Go and have a look at that on your screen when trust is a must, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you to Caroline and all our regulars. Professor Plimer is in America, and John Bruni is not terribly well. In fact, I think he's in hospital. But we'll have the crew back Friday week. Thank you very much.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, everybody. Thank you for everything. But you're not going to take my glass of wine away. No.
So you can press the button.
Yeah. Believe in yourself, ladies and gentlemen. You can join us on Facebook Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock and Thursday morning at 9 o'clock for another Court of Public Opinion from the garage, all 4 billion of you. Thank you very much. Believe in yourself, and goodbye for now.
We're together, right or wrong. Where you go, I'll tag along. Remember me, I'm the one.